We are live. Welcome to the replay of the Kratom Gals, a weekly live stream where we share interesting videos that we uncover on YouTube, TikTok, and more. It's spicy, it's fun, and very informative. You'll get a very interesting view of Kratom, looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm Madalyn Sklar, host of the Kratom Stories podcast, and please note that this live stream is presented solely for educational purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician or other medical professional. We are a community that comes together to share knowledge, stories, and experience. So welcome, everybody. And hey, gals, how are y'all today?
Hey, everybody.
We are ready to watch videos today. And for those watching live, come chat with us, come interact. We want to, see what your thoughts are on everything and have a conversation. I see Rebecca's here. Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
We just love seeing all of our friends coming in and visiting with us. So who are the Kratom Gals? I'm Madalyn Sklar, like I said before, host of the Kratom Stories podcast. I started the Kratom Real Talk Forum, got this live stream started. I'm so glad y'all all said yes to me when I said, I have this idea because it's so much fun, isn't it? Don't you have a good time doing this?
Love
Like, I can't imagine not doing this.
Yeah.
And so I keep pretty busy just trying to help spread the word about Kratom because it's helped in my life so much. So let's go around the room real quick. Misty Brown.
Hi, I'm Misty. I'm Miss T's, or AKA the tealeafpodcast. I'm a almost 5-year Kratom consumer, advocate, activist.
My name is Jennifer, and I actually just hit my 5-year mark yesterday at the Kratom Consumer.
Yay! Congrats!
Very awesome, very awesome. And I'm a Kratom gal. I like to spread the word and correct misinformation on Kratom.
Well, happy Kratomversary to you. We're so excited you reached that very important milestone. So congrats.
Oh, look, it's a little happy. Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, I made some extra banners today. So
that's cool.
Awesome.
Yes.
We need a screenshot of that. And Venus.
I'm Venus, a Kratom butterfly. You can also find me on Kratom Miracles. I found Kratom about 8 years ago. I'm still trying to figure out that exact date, but I haven't stopped since then. I found it, I started living, and I just don't want to stop. So
I love it. Craig says happy 5 years to Jennifer.
Thank you.
Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Craig, thank you for filling in last week.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
awesome.
had fun.
We did. We had so much fun. So
and I got back in time to watch it, and I really enjoyed watching it with you.
Did you?
Thank you so much.
Glad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, y'all take a moment to share this live stream. Let people know that the Kratom Gals are here. Whether you're watching live, watching the replay, just hit that share button wherever you're watching. Right now, we're broadcasting to Facebook, Twitter, or X. I guess we got to call it X now. YouTube. We're broadcasting all over the internet. And wherever you're watching, there's going to be a share button. However, if you're on X, you would just need to do the retweet or the quote tweet. But
repost.
Repost. They're always changing these names. I can't keep up with it. But thank you all so much for being here. So yeah, we're going to watch a variety of videos. We've been putting a whole bunch together. I've got just a nice variety. Can't wait to share and see what you all think. And for those watching us, never miss these live streams. Be sure to subscribe. You can do it through our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@kratomstories, or wherever you're watching. If you're watching on Misty Brown's Facebook or Jennifer or through Venus, wherever you're watching, you can definitely subscribe. And also, don't forget, we have merch. We're all wearing our Kratom Gals merch. Kratom Gals. You can get a t-shirt, a hoodie, a tank top. There's so much available.
We're making custom tumblers now too. We should do tumblers.
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea. Excellent idea. Heidi's here. Hey, Heidi. Happy anniversary to Jennifer. Great job last week to Craig. And Venus's mom is here. Hey, Venus's mom.
Hey, Venus's mom.
Appreciate you being here. But yeah, if anybody wants to get some Kratom Gals merch is available through the merch store. You can do it through kratomstoriespodcast.com/t-shirts or go to missteasmerch.com. Be sure to join our mailing list. And if you have not been on the Kratom Real Talk, it's a free forum. And what I like about it is private. Like the only people that can see it are the people that join. Anybody can join. And there's no charge to it. But we're able to keep it from being censored. Like if you want to post a video of how you consume your morning Kratom, you can do that there. Because on TikTok, we can't really do stuff like that. So you got to be careful with what we put on some of the social media sites. But, you know, we got, although I'm the only one that's done that over there, but like we can put information on there to help people that we normally can't do on social media. So, yeah.
And spell it correctly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't have to worry about, do I have to spell it all funky, which is such a pain. So anyway, love seeing all the comments here. And Venus, your mom says that you need to remind her to get merch.
I will do that.
All right. Well, is everybody ready to watch some videos?
Yeah, I have no idea what you got lined up.
I know.
Today.
I haven't given y'all any. I'm really proud of myself. I came up with I think a really good curated variety of things to watch. I have not spoken a word of what all I'm showing.
No.
So this will be kind of fun. And it'll be interesting to see, like, is this anything that you all have seen before or not seen before? So, you know, you just never know. If you're just joining us, thank you so much for being here. We come together every Saturday afternoon live. The replay is available as well, so you don't have to be here live. And we watch videos. We chat about it. Look, Drea's here. Hey, Drea.
Hey,
Drea.
Yeah.
Hi.
We were just talking about your live stream with Craig, which I missed. I need to go check it out.
I didn't see it either.
Me too.
Yeah, Craig says he hopes is positive. You know what? A lot of the things I'm going to be showing today are pretty positive. It's a variety. I don't think I have a whole lot of negative. I don't know. We'll see. So our new tradition is kicking it off with just a couple of little snippets of the latest Kratom Stories podcast episode. New episodes come out every Friday. And this one was really cool. It's Heather Habura, somebody I met on TikTok. And she's just so interesting. She discovered Kratom 4 months ago. 4 months ago. 4 months ago. So I love these people we come across that are new and their mind is blown and their lives have changed. So for anybody that's already listened to that episode, to hear how much her life has changed in 4 months is unreal.
She's so excited.
Yeah, she's very bubbly. I love that about her.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey,
Hi,
Carrie. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, thank you, Drea. Yeah, we appreciate getting more people to come hang out and join us here. We appreciate that. Yeah, all y'all got to do is just hit that share button. We really appreciate y'all's support. So just hit that share button. And I'm pretty sure I made a ticker didn't I make a ticker for that? Maybe I didn't. Okay, so let's take a couple little snippets of the episode with Heather Habura, see what y'all think.
What I love about Kratom, so let's say, I have a busy day ahead of me and, I want energy. So I know if I take like 1.5 to 2 grams, I'm still going to have energy. But if I take 3.5 grams, that makes me more chill and relaxed. So it works brilliantly because for me, again, everyone's different, but for me, like the lower the dose, it takes the pain away, and also anxiety helps tremendously with anxiety. Instead of taking a benzo like a Klonopin or a Xanax or an Ativan, I don't have to take any of those because of Kratom. It's not just for pain. For me, it helps anxiety tremendously.
What's y'all's quick thought while I zoom ahead to the next spot?
One-stop shop. It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And I love hearing the excitement in her voice.
She's just that way to begin with. And I just love her energy. It was so fun just having such a great conversation. And because this is just how she is. But you know, just like all of us, you discover Kratom and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I got shouted from the rooftops. So here she is 4 months in and she is shouting it all over the place. But I'm going to play a little snippet that we'll talk about next. And this is just going to be about a minute and a half. Why? So how did you first hear about it?
So I follow Claudia Morandi from, who
Dr. Patient Forum. Yeah.
Dr. Patient Forum.
She's amazing.
She's phenomenal. And she spoke about it a little bit. And then there was another, and I think you just interviewed him, Dr. Mike.
Yes, Dr. Mike.
And I followed both of them. So Claudia mentioned it and I was like, what is Kratom? And then Dr. Mike, I would listen to him and, like, what am I supposed to do? And, I started going and interviewing different physicians and seeing, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to live and take care of my son and work and get up and be up and, have this when I might not even be able to walk because I'm in so much pain one day. It just comes on like that. So actually, Dr. Mike is the one who taught through TikTok, said, visit New Hope Botanicals. Jordan's phenomenal. You need to order, like, through his information and knowledge. He's the reason why I ordered through New Hope Botanicals the right Kratom and got it. So it was Claudia, and then I watched Dr. Mike, and then it was all through TikTokers, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to order this. I researched it. I watched tons of videos, and then I ordered through Jordan. I called Jordan. Yeah. He talks to me on the phone for like a half hour. I'm like, this man's amazing. Just staying on the phone with me about this. And then from there, I ordered it. I ordered a whole bunch of, I ordered red, green. I ordered all the different kinds and I tried them out.
So what do y'all think? I mean, it's so cool that it started with Claudia. Are we surprised? Yeah. No, because she's an amazing Kratom advocate for the chronic pain community. So from there, she finds Dr. Mike, and through Dr. Mike, she finds me. And I remember this. Dr. Mike from time to time talks about Kratom, and I'll go into the comments and chat, and she saw my comments. And that was the start of her and I connecting months back. So also in that interview, she goes into that like she hears about it from them, but then she learns about it from me. It's
yes.
Like, whoa, that is just, I didn't even know. I didn't know any of this until I did the interview with her. Like,
you usually don't. You usually won't know.
Yeah, I knew she started Kratom, but I didn't.
Yeah, I know the part in the interview. She's like, "Thank you so much, thank you so."
Oh,
I mean, I'm even like that 5 years later about who told me about it. I mean, it's just you're so thankful that you finally have a life again. A better life, and so I don't know. It's crazy though. It's awesome that y'all are connecting with so many people on TikTok. I think it's a great thing that y'all are able to help. So, I just never would have thought TikTok though.
Me either.
But it's awesome. It's freaking awesome.
It's Misty's fault that I got on there. It's all her fault because I was just never into TikTok. It was so known for the dancing and all the entertainment stuff years ago, and it was just a big turnoff to me. I didn't realize that people were starting to use it for educational stuff in addition, that it wasn't just, but that's usually how social media platforms progress. And that's been my background for decades is teaching social media and how to do digital marketing. But I just stayed away from it. Then I watched how Misty was using it. I'm like, okay, that's brilliant.
I blame Jacob Ringstad.
Yeah, he's very good. It's interesting how people kind of have their own way of doing it. And it's like their thing.
Yeah,
his style is so interesting. How he makes
I like his style. Yeah,
it's very, very cool. But you have a great style, Misty.
Yeah. I was just like you. I was like, no, TikTok is for kids. What are you talking about?
Right.
What?
Exactly.
And so when I first started advocating over there, I was getting hit by the abstinence faith-based community. I was getting hit left or right with, oh, you're not clean, you're not sober, blah, blah, blah. And then I started talking about my history with addiction via chronic pain management. Then I got hit from the chronic pain community. Like, you're the reason why I can't get my pills today. How dare you? You're a fucking junkie. Meh, 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 meh. So, but I've learned to not react anymore. I've learned to just take a step back, take a step back and breathe. And then I'll think of something creative to use their comments against them without actually putting up a snarky video reply or, something like that. So.
And it works so well.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah, your technique is awesome, especially how you always turn it around and make it positive. I think that's great.
I love the ones you did this week with the eyes and the mouth. Those videos were absolutely brilliant. So excellent job on that.
I still feel violated. Like,
yeah.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we went to go drop our comments on the Virginia Board of Pharmacy's petition page that they had going on. And somebody from our anti-hate, our hate group went and pretended to be me and dropped stupid ass fucking comments. Like, they literally stole my identity. Even if it was just for a quick second, they stole my identity and put it on a governmental page.
Mm-hmm. And even though it was not spelled correctly, and even though it was, it's childish. First of all, it's childish.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. It shows you what type of people you're dealing with whenever you see them do stuff like that. Like, that's like a little bit cuckoo.
And it's scary that can be achieved on a government site, comment site, that they can do that.
Like, how can they take those comments seriously now? I know that AKA is working on doing something, but still, like I said, I still get irritated about it. It's, but I'm not going to let it ruin my day,
Yeah.
Y'all gave me content.
Exactly.
They sure did.
They gave you content, and it just shows. Like, it shows other people looking in, like, what kind of people those people are.
It shows you the bigger person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the way you
showed their character. They showed their character.
Mm-hmm.
So thank y'all for giving me content ideas.
So Lenny is here in the UK. Welcome on 240 Oxy, and we'll switch to Kratom.
Nice.
Any help would be appreciated.
Great.
Did he already switch? I remember I used to get prescribed 240 oxys.
Lenny says they want to switch to Kratom.
Is it even legal there? I don't know
I don't know.
Yeah, I know in some places it is, and some places it isn't. It's like hard enough to keep up with the United States sometimes.
Yeah,
exactly. I know. Yeah.
Okay, so it's legal.
Well, yeah, hold on, let me pull this up. He says it's not illegal.
Okay. Well,
says he is looking at red strains.
Oh, you want to talk to him about that? On how everybody told you, Madalyn, that the red strains would be what?
Yeah. When I first discovered Kratom, a long story short is discovered it through the documentary A Leaf of Faith. Highly recommended. It's on YouTube. It's free. Just type in a leaf, L-E-A-F, a leaf of faith. And when I started researching after that, people in a Facebook group said, "Oh, you have chronic pain. You want the red strain." Everybody was saying red strain. Now, I was smart enough to buy all three main strains, red, white, and green. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to just do the red. Everybody says red. And it didn't help me. It did not help my pain. It did not relax me or make me sleepy like a lot of people say. It just did basically nothing. I'm like, well, that's weird. Well, let me try the white one. I went to the white one next. I'm like, oh, I can still remember that first time I took it, and I went outside, and I felt like my eyes were going,
yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is this stuff? That one was too much. And then I went to the green. I'm like, okay, the white did help my pain, but I didn't get a nice overall feeling. It just felt
short-lived.
Jittery. Yes.
It makes me tired and cranky. Like, I just get cranky.
Yeah.
But it does help with pain.
But it affects everybody differently. Like Lisa's here says red strains make me irritable. Mm-hmm. Green is my favorite. Then you got Heidi who says red works best for the pain for me. And that's I think the most frustrating part for us trying to help people is that I always say it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
You know, on TikTok, we're so limited with how many characters in the comments. I've gotten really good at being very short and concise. It's like, it's not a one size fits all. It's very individualized. It affects everybody differently. You have to experiment and see what works. So what I always suggest is get the smallest size packs and get all 3 main strains and just try the different ones and keep a journal and keep track of the date, the time, how much you took, what kind you took, and how to make you feel. And that will help you. And there are some people that the very first time they take it is magic. And then for some people like me, it took a little trial and error, took a little bit of time. It just goes back to being individualized.
Now, my advice, like Madalyn said, you know, you get a sample pack with the red, white, and green strains, red for bed, white for flight, green for in between. That's theoretically how it's supposed to be, you know, but you won't know until you try it. Now, taper as low as you can go on the oxys and start kratom as soon as you feel the oxy withdrawals kick in. I don't ever recommend taking kratom and oxys or pain pills or opiates or anything. I just don't recommend you guys flip-flopping back and forth, you know, trying to figure out if this strain is going to work, because it takes a while for those opiates to clean off of your opioid receptors. So I just say, and when you're in withdrawal, that's your body telling you that those opioid receptors are cleaning off. So once that happens, then the kratom will go in and work its magic.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about it's frustrating for some people at first, but at the same time, it's, you know, you're learning so much about like how your body works. I feel like you're just learning, I don't know, after the first 2 weeks, you just feel more confident about what you're doing. You know, you start to get on track, and it's a beautiful thing once you get it figured out. It's completely and totally worth it.
It is. It is.
Yeah, Craig says, I see a lot of failed attempts from people probably buying it from a gas station or smoke shop. You definitely got to take your time and not, I think too many times people try it once and go, okay, this didn't work. Like, I am so proud of myself. Like, normally I'd be the kind of person, I tried it once, I'm like, that didn't work. And then I would not done it again.
Yeah.
But I also was no longer being prescribed my pain meds and couldn't get access, and no other doctors would take me on. So my choices were, okay, do I go find a drug dealer and go illegally buy the pain meds that work on me, or get this kratom to work? So I really took my time with it, and I'm glad I did, because it's been life-changing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I'm glad mine worked right away, because I would have been like, you know, just naysaying it, talking crap about it. But yeah, I'm glad that I had immediate results.
Yeah. And all these great comments. Y'all, thank y'all so much for commenting and sharing. Gabby Bird says, and by the way, hi, Gabby Bird.
Oh,
Good to
hey,
see you
Gabby
here.
Bird.
If you take opiates and kratom even hours apart, you won't get the full effects. And let me just add to that. So as I was saying, when I was first starting, I didn't get that magical reduced pain right away, because I was experimenting. I didn't know what dose, what type. So I was playing around with it, keeping a journal, and I was very low on the meds because, again, the doctor. If you want to hear my story, go to kratomstoriespodcast.com or look up Kratom Stories in any of the podcast players. It's also on YouTube. Episode 1 is my story. So if anybody wants to hear the long version of it. But because I was running out of the pain meds, I knew I had to make this work. But because it didn't work right away for me, what I personally did was I would do the kratom during the day, and then by the evening, I would wait like 4 to 6 hours, and then I would take like a pain pill later in the evening, and then start over the next morning. So I had a lot of hours in between, but I'm also somebody that processes the pain meds very quickly. I've had pharmacokinetic testing that shows that they go through me very quickly. So it might not be like that for everybody, but that's what worked for me. But Misty is so right. Once I figured out the green strain worked, once I figured out a dose that worked, and I was 100% off the opiates, within a few weeks, the kratom worked better. Like, it kept working better and better and better.
Yes.
And people told me that. People were telling me it will work better the longer you get those meds out of your system.
Yep.
And so
it's
it was
scary.
really cool.
Like, it's really scary to make that change. Like, I was the same way. Like, for 6 months at least, I was just like, everybody kept saying that, but I'm like, oh, you know, I'm different. You know, just because they say that doesn't mean I'm gonna be that way. But, you know, when I finally just was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. You know, it was.
But the main
so
thing is, don't expect to feel a feeling with Kratom. That's not going to happen. You know, like with the pain pills, like for me, you know, I'd snort them, you know, or pop the pill or whatever, but I would sit back or lay back in my bed and wait for that warm rush to come over my body. You know, Kratom is not going to do that to you. What you're going to realize, what's going to happen to you is, like for me, I took the Kratom and I was washing dishes. I was doing my laundry. I cooked dinner for my kids that night. And it wasn't until I went to bed where I was thinking about everything I was doing during the day. And I was like, holy shit, Misty, I didn't pop a pill. I didn't snort no cocaine. You know, I didn't do none of that. So that was right then and there where I was like, man, you know, when I think about hindsight stuff, that's where I messed up, was when I started taking Kratom, I was expecting to feel something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was expecting to either feel something or like in the back of my head, I'm sitting there thinking, oh God, my pain's going to come back any second, like just in the back of my head. And then, you know, then I'm like, well, I'm not feeling anything either. Like it was just kind of, so I was just really quiet about it. You know, I didn't say anything about it, you know, day after day for about 2 weeks. And that's when I started just shouting it from the rooftops to everybody around me. I'm like, this is crazy. But yeah, it's like you just notice that your pain is gone.
I honestly feel like that's why people give up during the trial and error phase, because they're like, I don't feel anything. Well, duh, that's the whole point.
Right. Yeah, it's just like a natural takeaway. It's like, it's just perfectly natural. It's a natural thing that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but it's amazing.
And then, you know, the longer you take it, the longer it does get better, because your opioid receptors are healing from the years of something being fully attached to it.
And all your natural dopamine and all that stuff starts kicking in again.
What did Carrie say?
Oh, let me pull it back up.
Yeah, I sent her some Kratom in 2020, and that time I wasn't in any pain. So when I took it, I had no clue. I felt nothing. Now in 2023, I got plantar fasciitis in my feet. I tried to get it. Holy shit! I felt like my legs were. I forgot. I didn't
amputated.
Oh.
That is so awesome, Carrie. I've had plantar fasciitis, and it is painful.
Oh yeah,
I had it a long time ago, and that was back when I was in pain management. So I was on all the high-powered opioids, and the opioids didn't help it. And I mean, the doctor tried everything, and then finally, last resort, had to do the surgery. And I'm like, please let this work, and it did. It actually completely fixed it, which I know surgeries don't always do, but I'm really glad I did that one, because plantar fasciitis, woof.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got diagnosed, I'm like, what? When you look at how it's spelled and how they say, I'm like, what? It was crazy. Also, let me see. There was a comment I want to go back to here. Lenny said that he'll probably document the journey on TikTok. Just be careful, because TikTok, we get in trouble very easily. And many of us have lost TikTok's accounts, and we're on our second or third or fourth. How many of you have had, Misty?
I'm on my third.
Your third. So you can definitely share your story, share your journey. Just don't show yourself consuming the Kratom. Although
your kids are free. Nice.
That's awesome. Congrats. And Misty, you played a huge role.
What's your TikTok name? Because if you guys have, like, people would be like, oh, I follow you on Facebook, or I follow you on TikTok. So I got to ask, what's your TikTok name or what's your Facebook name?
Yeah, because it's a different username that makes us like, what? I would have never thought that was you. Yeah. So Craig says that addicts curse Kratom for not giving them that darn euphoria as opiates do. Yeah. Oh, wait, here's Lenny. Excellent.
Oh, okay.
Lenny, we're glad you're here all the way from the UK.
Congratulations.
I hope we helped in sharing that.
Yeah. I can't wait to tell you, welcome back to life. You're going to be shooketh. And then you're going to feel like, oh my God, how come I didn't do this earlier or sooner? How come I didn't know about this earlier or sooner? Don't beat yourself up on that part. Just feel that feeling and then get over that, and just be like, oh, okay, these are what these chicks are talking about. Now I want to go tell word. Yeah, now I want to go tell my UK buddies. Hey, mate.
That's awesome. Says 100%. This is an amazing podcast to stumble upon. Well, it's technically a live stream. You know, there's so many different things we're doing. The Kratom Stories podcast is just typical audio podcast. Like, you know, you can play on your Apple podcast player. You can actually listen to it on YouTube. It's just audio only. This is our live stream of the Kratom Gals. So we're doing all kinds of different things, but we're just trying to put out a lot of content to help people with Kratom. But we appreciate you being here so much, Lenny. So glad you're here. Gabby says, if people are looking for that high, they should not touch Kratom.
Yes.
100%. And that definitely ties in to this next video I want to show you. But if you've not done this yet, hit that share button. Help us spread the word about our awesome live stream. We always have so much fun doing this. And if you're just joining us, we're the Kratom Gals. Hi. Thank you for being here. We come together and watch videos and talk about it. So let's go watch one. I think the reason why I haven't really shared with y'all, like this surprise for a lot of y'all today, what we're watching is that a lot of new ones popped up in YouTube this week. I'm like, well, there are a lot of interesting ones and a lot of stupid ones. And I think Misty and I are probably the only ones that are always checking that like every day. I'm like hooked on it now. So every single day I go check what are today, like in the last 24 hours, the newest videos that have Kratom.
I don't go search for them on YouTube. I just go check them whenever they hit my Google alerts. Because some
are crazy, some are funny, some are just plain stupid. There are a lot of stupid ones, but there's some interesting ones. And so I just have it bookmarked in my browser now. So I can just tap a button and it just shows me what's the latest in the last 24 hours. And I just keep checking every day because this week there's been so many of them. But I came across this interesting short. It's only a minute long. So let's watch this together. And y'all comment, give us your thoughts as well.
I just bought this little blue bottle from a gas station sort of near my house. And it contains two things, kava and kratom. And some people say that this is a health tonic that will make their lives better, improve focus, and improve athletic performance, while others say it is the gateway to an intense addiction that will ruin their lives. When I asked the attendant at Circle K how many bottles people usually buy, he said 4 bottles. I've been speaking to people quite frequently recently who said they buy 10 bottles at a time.
Wow.
And if they don't have their fix, their lives are just ruined.
Crazy.
Well, I've been speaking with doctors, with the founder of the company, with health influencers, and I'm going to get to the bottom of Feel Free and the Kratom spread, the epidemic. I don't know what to call it yet across America. If you want updates, go follow me over on Substack. There is so much coming down the
spread. The epidemic.
So people are buying 4 at a time. Those things are expensive.
Yeah.
Kratom and kava little shots. Are those single shots? Like, do we know how many servings?
I don't know.
Does anybody know how many if anybody is in here live with us, if you know how many servings?
I would assume it's more than one, but people probably.
I would assume there's like 3 servings.
Because I mean, that's a pretty big bottle.
Yeah.
It looks like. But I mean,
for people that don't know, because if I had no clue, I would think that it was a shot. It was 1 bottle. That was 1 serving, too.
Yeah. I mean, when you buy something that small, you know, it's just like a common sense type of thing. But, you know, again, I don't understand how you would get to the point of having to buy that many I just don't understand how you would get to that point unless you were already an addict and looking for another addiction.
Lisa says it's 2 servings per bottle. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay,
thank you.
So people are buying a bunch of them and they're just downing the whole thing.
Yeah. And you know, and when people talk about being addicted to that specific brand, we don't which one are you addicted to, the kratom or the kava?
The kava, yeah.
Right, because it has both. Now, Gabby says she read the bottle has 4 servings.
Wowza.
Damn.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Misty, John's here. Hey, John. Glad you're here live with us. He said he saw those fake comments on the Virginia website in your name. What the hell? Yeah. We talked about it already. It's just
they want to be me so bad.
Yeah, they do.
They sure do. But you do a good job of turning it around, being the bigger person, and making
Yep.
great content out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you get to that point of.
I don't know.
I mean, I could understand, like, for instance, when I was drinking, it's like, oh, I'm drinking, I feel good, I'm just going to keep on trying to keep it up. But dude, I mean, going to just every day, like, to function, you're going and buying 10 of those or whatever a day, or pallet.
How much are they? How much?
They
Does
gotta
anybody
be at
know?
least $20 a
I
piece.
think they are. If anybody here knows, tell us. I think they're like $20. Heidi says 1 ounce equals 2 servings. Ridiculous. Wow.
That's just crazy, though. I mean,
yeah. Craig says that's all the Kratom Karens and Kevins now is bought at a gas station and are clueless about unadulterated Kratom.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree. But the guy was calling it an epidemic.
or a spread.
And he's talking to the person behind Feel Free.
I mean, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Okay. But this is for anybody that's new to the Kratom Gals. These are some of the things we like to watch and talk about because there's so much crazy information. This was a YouTube video put out 4 days ago. And
how many followers does that guy got?
I'll go check. Heidi says a 12-pack is $105. Holy cow.
What?
Dude.
That's like 4 days worth of groceries.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. Yeah.
I'm keeping
Yeah, Kelly says it perfectly. We have an epidemic and it's not Kratom. And then Gabby says it's like blaming the liquor store for being an alcoholic.
Right. I mean, yes.
Exactly.
Well
Exactly.
said.
Nobody's jumping, this stuff ain't jumping off the shelves and cramming itself down your throat. You know what I mean? I just, we all have our own mind and we all have our own free will. So we shouldn't blame things that can't, inanimate objects for our problems.
Kelly says my kilo is less than that.
Yeah.
Which is so true. So the guy short that we just watched, I'm looking at his YouTube. He has like 40,000 followers. His name is Scott Carney, investigative journalist, anthropologist, and New York Times bestselling author, explores consciousness, history, climate, artificial intelligence, war, and most of all, truth.
Okay.
So apparently he's investigating these Feel Free, but this video just came out earlier. It's only had 440 views, but he's talking like he knows everything about this product and he's going to investigate.
Well, the fact that he talked to the owner, I wonder if the owner disclosed any information that I know about.
I mean, he could have just said that to say it, who knows? The next video I'm going to play is actually from 8 months ago. It was, it's just a short 3-minute video, but it's a news report from Colorado. It's a part 2. It looks kind of familiar. I think we probably saw the part 1 and played it before, but this is another part. It's just interesting when I've come across these videos because it just shows the scope of the kind of information put out to the public through news media about Kratom. So let's watch this. Y'all share your thoughts in the comments as we watch it together. Hold on, I gotta press the right button to make it work.
Well, we first told you about Kratom last night after hearing from a local Kratom shop owner. We took a look at what one local doctor has to say about the effects it can have on someone. Dr. Ryan Jackman, the medical director of St. Mary's Integrated Addiction Medicine, says people need to be aware of the risks when using Kratom.
For an individual who's at risk of opioid use disorder, when their brain is exposed to Kratom and mitragynine, which is the chemical that's in it, they are at a higher risk for wanting to use more.
But Dr. Jackman says he doesn't see Kratom becoming a substitute for opioids like fentanyl because of the cost.
So generally, you see this progression in the direction of more potent and more affordable. Kratom really doesn't fit either of those categories.
Jesse says the Kratom sold at Colorado Kratom is all lab tested before a customer purchases it, and he tries to make it as affordable as possible.
It makes sure there's no chemicals that you don't want to put into your body. It tells you the alkaloids that are in it and how strong it is.
While kratom may not be as potent as an opioid people can find out on the street, there is no age limit on kratom products across the state of Colorado as of yet.
There is.
Many individuals who develop use disorders, particularly use disorders to multiple substances throughout their life, one of the common similarities in these cases is that they started using a substance in their adolescent ages.
Do you think there should be a disclaimer in kratom bars saying like this could be an addictive substance like tobacco has warning?
100%, I think it should be. And the fact that we have increasing numbers of access points for kratom tells you that there's a demand in our community.
But Jesse says he only sells his product to those 18 and older.
If you're 18 and you can like vote and you go to war, you should be able to take kratom.
Both Dr. Jackman and Dr. Tobin say people don't know the risks of taking kratom because no one is talking about it. And if there are heavy regulations on it in the future, it makes studying the effects of kratom more difficult.
Trying to educate public as much as possible, have resources available, so people at least know the dangers of some of this stuff.
While he sees the benefits of kratom for people, Jesse says he likes working in the gray area because it allows his shop to operate more freely.
Kratom, it's a lot easier to, have a shop. There's not all the legalities to go through just because it's such a gray area. But I don't know what would happen if it gets to that point.
In May of this year, Colorado lawmakers passed regulation on kratom effective July 1st of 2024. The new law prohibits a person from selling or offering to sell a kratom product to anyone under 21.
I helped pass that.
As of 2021, kratom is illegal in 6 states:
Awesome.
Alabama, Arkansas, Indiana, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Wisconsin.
All righty.
I'm do that thing where it's...
So, that video, as I said at the start, was like from 8 months ago, but just interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
and they're doing it again. They're taking the kratom and kava instead of the kratom tea.
Yeah.
Mix.
But it's like they keep on acting like you're supposed to put some kind of disclaimer on it. It's like, dude, when I smoked cigarettes, I didn't give a crap what the cigarette said. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I didn't sit there when I first started smoking when I was a teenager. I'm like, oh, that has an FDA sticker on it from the Surgeon General saying it's addictive. Let me not smoke that. It's like, nobody pays attention to that shit. I mean,
just like he was talking about how, addiction started in the adolescence. I wasn't addicted to shit except for cigarettes. I started stealing my mom and dad's cigarettes out of their ashtrays when I was like 11 years old. We used to be able to go down to the gas station to buy cigarettes with a note saying that my mom said, she needs 2 packs of Winston 100s.
Right. We'd be going to the bowling alley and the little machines outside.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah.
But nobody's talking about wanting to ban cigarettes because it was so easy for us as adolescents to get them.
Yep. We even had smoking courts at school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to hang out in the smoking area at school, back when that was, common back in the olden days.
I just hate it when they act like that's just going to be a solution to every problem. It's just, I don't know. It just seems stupid. I mean, that legality wise, that's the only thing I could see is like, oh, well, I guess a lawyer couldn't sue someone because it has a disclaimer on it. That's the only thing I could see really doing.
Well, I'm glad that today that we're seeing vendors put those disclaimers on those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, if you're buying kratom right now and it doesn't have any disclaimers, serving size suggestions, if it's not labeled, then don't buy it because that vendor does not care. It's probably not even lab tested. Like, you need to be buying from vendors who actually do their job and care about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't support people that don't do that.
Gabby says my primary doc is pro kratom and tests me for heavy metals at my annual physicals. Nice. That's the only risk in my case, he said. I'm the same way. Like my primary care is on board with it, and because she sees how well it's helping me. And I get labs. I go about twice a year and get labs done. My labs have always been fine in the 5 years I've consumed kratom. But that's awesome that your doctor is pro kratom. And I always tell this story every time this happens. And because I've been going to the dermatologist a lot in the past year from, skin cancer issues. And I went this week. And I just love when the nurse comes in, they read off like your current meds off the list.
Yeah.
And, I have kratom listed on there. It's a medication for me. It's what I use for my back and neck pain. And the guy's reading this stuff. And he gets to, and I just love to see like how they're going to try to pronounce it. Are they going to get stuck on the word? And he goes, and kratom? most doctors don't know what it is. I know that doctor's office doesn't know what it is, and it doesn't affect them. I'm not there for pain or any, just dermatology stuff, but I just get a kick out of every time I'm going there now. And has anything changed since you were here last time? Are any new medications? Well, let me read your list of medications in the chart. And I can't wait for him to say kratom out loud. I feel like that's part of advocacy. It's part of advocacy.
Yes. I like going, and like I used to be on at least 8 different kinds of medicine, like at least. So I used to go and just have like this long, laundry list of medicines they'd have to read out. But it's like crazy to me, here I am 18 years later being and take less medicine than I do now than when I first got, God, I think I only take 2. I take bladder medicine and I take anti-spasm medicine, and that's it. And like I was on, night medicine, pain medicine.
Yep. Nausea medicine. I was on antacids. I was on
antidepressants.
All that shit.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I only take 2 medicines now, and some of that I don't even take every day. Like that's just so crazy.
I still take my anti-seizure meds, which is it's called Keppra. I still take those. So whenever people come at me and say, "Oh, kratom caused me to have a seizure" and all that stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm an epileptic." I haven't had a seizure in my almost 5 years of being a consumer. You fucked up somewhere. Probably taking those damn extracts.
Yeah. Rebecca says her doctor went into preaching about how bad it is. So like this makes for a great conversation. So like I am totally comfortable telling doctors if it's somebody new, I've yet to meet anybody in the medical profession that I go meet in person for any kind of medical thing for myself that has ever heard of it. So I feel like I'm educating them, but I've yet to come across anybody that was negative or, preaching or whatever. But how would you handle a situation like, I'm in a very large city. I would just say, see ya and go to somebody else. I can do that because I'm in the 4th largest city in the US. So there's going to be a gazillion of every kind of doctors. Plus I'm in like the medical center capital of the world. Like we're known for our medical center. So like, I don't feel like I would have any trouble, but it's not that way for everybody.
I would direct them to kratomanswers.org.
Yes.
Tell them to do their due diligence and do their research. And like Madalyn said, if they want to continue talking bad about it, take your insurance money elsewhere. Don't pay their bills when they want to talk shit to you about what's saving your life.
Right.
I do want to say, Madalyn, have you tried making a kratom paste to put on your little skin cancers that pop up?
Mm-mm. A kratom, what do you mean by a kratom paste?
Just mix it with water or something and just put it on. Yeah, because kratom does have anti-cancerous properties in it.
Interesting.
Which we can't really talk about, because.
Yeah. Interesting. I never thought of that. I know all about the castor oil. You got me hooked on it.
I love my castor oil.
I always think of you. I did a castor oil pack on my wrist last night, overnight, with the heating pad and all that. Lisa says that my former doctor told me she would prescribe me Suboxone to get off of kratom. Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that shit. No. If you find yourself, getting your dosing carried away, or you find yourself there, you know what? First of all, no extracts. It's the extracts that are getting people in, trouble to where they got to go to the doctors to get put on Suboxone to get off of that shit. It's like it throws gas onto the fire. It's like prescribing meth to get off of coffee.
Yes.
Don't get prescribed an opioid to get off of a food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They turn you into their customers, what they're doing.
Yes. That's exactly it. Because with kratom, you don't need to go back to see them all the time. You don't need to go to the pharmacy. You don't need to go to their little clinics for their shots. It just keeps going. If you keep going back on, because most of the doctors own those clinics or partial owners of those clinics. So, it's their livelihood, their kratom.
there's absolutely nothing in pure, unadulterated, plain leaf powder kratom that makes you crave it, that makes you want more and more and more. It's you, it's your behaviors that's doing that. I am proof of this.
Yeah.
You know, I like I said, my highest dose on kratom was, I used to do 5 teaspoons 5 times a day. And once I saw that people were talking about less is more in the Facebook kratom community, I put in the effort to apply that to my dosing. No fucking excuses. Get put on Suboxone to get off kratom. That's a bullshit.
Yeah, that is crazy to me. But I mean, I can understand too, like, you know, like for instance, here in Tennessee, you know, it's, you know, marijuana's, they look down upon that, you know, any type of medicine that's not, you know, and so if they don't know about it and they Google it and they put it on your chart, like I could see being kind of leery of that. Cause like my husband 10 years ago told him that he smoked weed every once in a while, and they put it on his record. And so like when he gets a diverticulitis flare up, they were giving him trouble about it. It's like, dude, that was like 12 years ago now, and it's still on his chart. And that's ridiculous.
Wow.
So, I mean, you know, I could kind of see something like that, not being one to do that. But
I was just thinking earlier today that, okay, I know you guys see that the opioid lawsuits monies are being distributed, you know, and for someone, for a Suboxone, for you to get put on Suboxone to get off of kratom is a win for that doctor, because they are wanting to apply for those opioid lawsuit grant monies. And then I can't help but to think, okay, you know how I survived the overprescribing, you know, opioid epidemic, where doctors were getting kickbacks like crazy to overprescribe back in the day. I know that that's a different company compared to the Suboxone manufacturers and all that stuff, but I can't help but to wonder, is there some way, somewhere in there, is there a link to where they're still getting paid? You know, like it's one big, well-oiled money-making machine.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you really dig down deep into it, I would say, yeah.
I think so too, Teresa. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, her comment is excellent. Medical malpractice to prescribe subs for kratom.
And when people tell me that, oh, I got prescribed subs to get off of kratom, you know, first of all, I ask you those 21 damn questions, like what kind, how much were you consuming, was a lab test above, you know, all that stuff. 9 times out of 10, they don't answer those questions. So my next comment will be, well, are you addicted to subs now? You know, because it's you.
Right. And they're given such a large dosage.
Yes.
It's that's just horrific.
And I mean, I ain't trying to, you know, whatever, but I mean, some of those people could just be wanting to get on subs in the first place. So they go into their doctor talking about, I'm strung out on kratom, you know, give me some subs. I mean,
this one dude that dropped that
want to be on subs.
This one dude that dropped that comment on my video, he's on 32 milligrams of Suboxone for his kratom and kava addiction.
Whoa.
What?
That's 4 strips. 4 strips. That's
wow. Crazy. That's a lot.
That's and it has a ceiling effect anyway. Suboxone did. I thought it did. I don't know if they talk about it, but to me, I thought it did. You know, to where it just doesn't get any.
That's my understanding as well. But you could divert your Suboxone and still get high on it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm just so glad that I'm just so glad I never had to go down that route.
Well,
the reason why.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the reason why I didn't go down the Suboxone. So in December of 2017, when my doctor was retiring, he said, I can give you Suboxone until you find a new pain management doctor. I was like, what? I said, I'm not addicted to my pills. What are you talking about? You crazy. You know, but I did find a new doctor in January 2018, but I didn't want that in my chart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the thing is, with what happened with you and me, Misty, 5 years ago, we lose our access. If that happened today, they would have given us Suboxone.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been like, that's the alternative today. So 5 years ago, when doctors like, I'm not prescribing these anymore, he was probably, my thinking is he was probably being investigated.
Yeah.
It was a huge practice. I think he was the only pain management doctor in this orthopedic practice. That place was like, every time I went, I would sometimes be there for 3 hours just waiting. Like it was one of those crazy ones where, and so many people every time I went, and I had to go every month. And I'm sure he prescribed high doses for me, but as I mentioned many times here, I had pharmacokinetic testing that validates that. I don't know if very many doctors do that. So many people said, "Oh, I wish my doctor would." I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Like they that should be required.
I never heard of it either. And
Well,
I was probably suffering from that too.
Well, here's the thing. This is just looking back in hindsight. At the time, I was like, I don't know. They did that pharmacokinetic testing with me twice in 2 years. And both times it was, oh, if it's okay with you, we want to do this test where we swab your cheek. It's not going to cost you anything. We're not going to run through the insurance. So they were paying for it themselves. And it's to help them, because if he's prescribing super high doses and then something happens and he gets in trouble, he can say, well, her pharmacokinetic testing shows, and it did for me, that I processed them quickly. So I'm sure in those tests, if somebody came back like the opposite, they probably dismissed them or reduced or did. So he had to have been investigated, and he was young too. So,
I feel like my doctor was supposedly retiring because he wasn't even a doctor. He was the physician assistant that I had for 7 years straight. So I feel like him or the doctor above him or that clinic I was going to, I felt like they were in the DEA radar. Because I don't feel like he was, I don't know. It's my gut feeling that I don't feel like it was his time to retire, but he wanted to get out before the crackdown.
Because he knew something was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Linda says, thankfully I was smarter than the doctor, been free of all pharma drugs for 6 years because of Kratom. Congrats, Lisa. Nice. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Lisa's
Cosmic
out
Charles,
there living.
Yeah, Cosmic Charles is here. So glad you're here with us. I've been posting a few comments. This one says, Suboxone and methadone have horrible effects on dental health. And it's so sad hearing about that. Like Mike Overstreet, great example.
I
of
had
how
no
it ruined
idea.
his teeth. Yeah. And Venus, did that happen to you as well? Was it because of Suboxone?
Yeah, and mine actually started with the tablets before, but I never connected it. I mean, and I didn't want to connect it because at the time, that was what was helping me at the time. But they would just break right off. So I had all my top teeth pulled and the dentures, and then I started on the strips. And now the bottoms need to be pulled. And
Did you have that gray cloud effect that Mike talks about all the time, where it just felt like you were all gloomy, like a gray cloud was just over you constantly?
I did when I was on a higher dose on the tablets. When I was on the strips, I was only taking a little sliver, like 2 milligrams, a couple times a day, or probably 3 or 4 times a day. And that worked great for my pain. And I could think and everything. But then the reason I stopped was because I had to switch doctors. My doctor stopped, and I couldn't find anybody else to prescribe them for me. So the smaller doses worked really, really well, but the larger doses, I just felt dead inside. Yeah. But the lawsuit, I have to go back into it. They said that I can try to get for my bottom teeth, but I can't do it for the top teeth. So I'm going to look into it anyway.
Man, that's just so wrong.
Yeah, John says, and John's in the medical profession, he says, the first thing people learn as physicians, nurses, etc., do no harm. I'm appalled at how many clinicians do harm and abandon their patients.
Yeah.
John, you should start a movement about that.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to do no harm.
Well, look at this one from Craig. Since 2007, over 57,000 people have died from methadone and Suboxone, but nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
Because all they do is talk about Kratom. That's a lot. And then Lenny says, Subutex made me totally numb emotionally and cognitively. I was on an off-label for pain in 2018. Wow, that total brain fog. That sucks.
You failed your university physician. Was it psych? Was it?
Hold on. Let me put it back up.
Physics.
Failed my university physics exam. That sucks.
Dang.
Craig, I know what you meant. I thought maybe you did that on purpose because you're commenting in Facebook. But I'm so used to that with TikTok, like being
Code
careful
in
how
the
you
words.
how you word things.
But what I don't understand is if they specifically made buprenorphine for pain, why are they? I mean, I understand it in my head because it's a money thing and they want everybody to be in the addiction pipeline. But they made the buprenorphine for pain, so why aren't they putting people on that? Because
I
that's what
think, in my opinion, I feel like because wasn't it created like in the 1960s or something like that? I don't know what
I'm not
decade,
sure.
but it was originally created for pain. But I feel like it just didn't take off. You know, not until the Sacklers and shit got involved and created the OxyContin shit.
Right.
And if you give it to them for pain, it doesn't put them in that addiction. You know, they're not going down that lane.
Right. But yeah, because addiction is big business. And so like when OxyContin was marketing their shit as, you know, pain relief and all that stuff, I don't think that they realize how many, you know, I don't know. People don't want to say that the substance doesn't cause the addiction and all that stuff, but damn it.
Right.
It's what got me, you know, that feeling, those feelings I used to get on it, you know, I felt invincible. I felt like I was getting squeezed by a warm hug.
Yeah, well, it depends on your situation too, like what's going on in your life at the time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors that go into being an addict. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's not just, you know, I don't believe in all that, you know, you're born an addict type of thing. I just think that, you know, it happens.
Like my parents aren't alive, so I can't, you know, go and ask them like what was going on in life at the time when you guys were they used to get prescribed massive amounts. Like I said all the time on our talks, is that I used to see these, you know, those big 500 count bottles, those big bottles, you know, and I'm a kid and I'm thinking, oh, you know, those are vitamins or something like that. But, you know, I just remember seeing huge bottles and then those big liquid bottles of liquid oxy.
The liquid codeine.
Like, man, yeah, that shit.
I remember in the 80s, I know I mentioned this before, back in the 80s, I'll never forget, I was really young. I had this primary care doctor, you know, when you're too old to go to the pediatrician, now you're like, you know, young adult, you're going to the first time adult doctor. And he loved giving you that codeine cough syrup if you have a little cough.
You had a cough.
He had sample. I'll never forget this. He would give me a handful of these sample bottles. Here, just use these, and they were amazing. And I'm like, "Ooh, these are really good." And it was so not a thing back then for them to just get like. Who today would offer sample? There would not be such a thing as sample bottles of any narcotic.
No, and they had the little OxyContin and oxycodone sample bottles too that they would give out. I remember seeing friends' parents that had the little bottles.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like little, like in a fish bowl, like a candy bowl, you know, at the front of the reception desk when we go to the doctors with my mom.
Like instead of mints, just grab your
yes.
Wow. That's wild. That's wild. The only thing I will say about OxyContin is it was one of the very few narcotics that helped me tremendously with my pain. It was an amazing drug. I hated that they did a lot of things wrong on the marketing side, but they were not the only ones doing that. All those drug companies were guilty. They just got massively caught with it. But that was an amazing drug. It helped me so much.
And it helped me too. Just not long enough. It didn't last 12 hours.
No, it never lasted 12 hours for me. But when it worked, I mean, I got probably about a good 6-ish.
I don't know. You sit back and think, you know, the FDA is supposed to be here to protect us Americans, but they allowed that shit to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They totally did. Carrie says, Misty and my dad have the same back problems. They would give him 500 Vicodins at a time.
Yep.
Wow. That's a lot. Gabby was asking just a few minutes ago, didn't the FDA just issue another warning that Suboxone can cause suicidal ideation? Has anybody heard about that?
I haven't looked into that, but I saw Claudia talking about it.
Interesting. But isn't it interesting how, you know, years back, they're like, we're not going to prescribe opioids or we're going to reduce people's opioids. Let's just give everybody gabapentin, right? Gabapentin for everybody.
Yeah.
They freely gave it to me 10 years ago, and it wasn't really working. I mean, this was on top of the opioids. So, I mean, in pain management, I'm doing like, Oxycontin, Percocet every day. They added the gabapentin at one point, and I'm like, well, it's not really doing much. Well, let's just give you more. To the point that I was taking 2,700 milligrams a day. That was insane how much they had me. And it still I never really noticed much of a difference. And then one time, this PA he had I couldn't stand this PA. And one time I said something to the PA, and I was already taking a lot of it, thinking, well, I probably can't not, because I'll probably have issues if I try to stop. He goes, well, the only way to really know is just stop it for 10 days. That's what the PA says to me. And he said it really rudely. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. They kept upping and upping the gabapentin. And I don't think it's doing anything. And I've been taking it for a good while. And he's like, just stop it for 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell kind of answer is that? And at that point on, I told the doctor, I said, because there was a time where, because the pain management doctor was so busy that you were there for 2 or 3 hours because you wanted to see him. It'd be a shorter wait if you'd see the PA. But this PA of his was so terrible and giving me those kinds of responses that finally I said, I will sit and I will wait as long as it takes, because the doctor was actually very good with me. Like, he listened to me. He took his time. We would make a plan together, even though it sucks that he ended up dropping me. But I'm sure he was just scared. But he just had these terrible PAs. So I just would rather just sit long. I'd bring my laptop. I'd be the only one in this whole practice. I would come with my laptop.
You're a meta.
Get on their Wi-Fi, and I would just work. Because I've been self-employed for so long. So it's like, I'll just sit here and work well. And they all got a kick out of it. My doctor actually told me I was like one of the only few patients of his that worked.
Wow.
But for me, it's like, well, I'd rather do that than get on, because I tried doing the disability. Oh God, I'm sure we could have a whole conversation about that. It was just too difficult.
Yeah.
Didn't work. And in the end, it wasn't even going to be that Dr. Pepper. Misty, why'd you do that? Like, I recognize that sound, that look.
Cheers, gals. Cheers.
I'm going to need a Dr. Pepper now. This is so much fun hanging out with y'all and doing this. Yeah,
my doctor's appointments were, I'd sit there for like 2 hours, something like that, and then I go back to the room. The nurse checks my vitals and shit, asks me, do you feel like you're addicted? And I'd be like, hell no, what are you talking about, bitch? And then the doctor would come in, and it was all routine. He'd have his script pad ready. He'd be like, hey, how you doing? How's the kids? That's it. He'd write my scripts out, sign it. I'm on my way to the pharmacy.
See, I was
in
with a
Delaware.
neurologist. So it was like my neurologist was like doing my little thing, and but I mean, I remember a time when I first got out of the hospital, and I called him because I was, I was in pain. I was already on like MS Contin and oxycodone, and he faxed something over to the pharmacy. I can't even remember what it was, but it was like another, a narcotic.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, dude, you could not do that shit today. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't just call your doctor and be like, hey, I'm still in pain. But, eventually I was on, 600 milligrams of gabapentin 4 times a day. And man, I'm telling you, it did not help. But when I had to get off that, worst withdrawal ever, like just mental withdrawal. But yeah, I mean, things are just a lot different than what they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember back in the day that, we used to be able to call our doctor like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
and, let them know, hey, the pills you prescribed me earlier that day ain't working. So
Yeah,
they would call
okay.
in. They would call in the Walgreens pharmacy, and I'd be there at 2 a.m. go pick it up a new damn script.
Yeah. And if that pharmacy that you usually went to wasn't open, they just go on to whatever pharmacy was open. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal at all. Yeah.
Karen is here. Welcome, Karen, to our live stream. She says, unfortunately, along with Kratom, vodka is my go-to for pain relief. It's disgusting.
I've been down that road. And I would run out of pain medicine, 2 weeks into the month, and drinking was the only answer I had,
Be careful mixing alcohol with Kratom.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I'm glad it doesn't. I have no, what do you say? urge.
I have no
urge to drink whatsoever anymore.
That's what
but,
most people say when they stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I already was not drinking. When I was doing OxyContin for my pain, it's like, so interesting how like the medications, like, that you shouldn't drink alcohol. I used to do it anyway. But then
Me
the
too.
OxyContin was like, I just remember the warning on that label was like it sounded more severe.
Yeah.
Like it will kill you. Like I just remember being a little nervous. I'm like, you know what?
Well, you would be stacking a depressant on top of a depressant.
Right.
But, I'm telling you to be careful with that, sweetie, because one of our anti-moms, their son drank 6 beers or something and collapsed and died, and the coroner blamed it on kratom. So you just. But yeah, I used to mix the alcohol. I wasn't an alcoholic per se. I used to just drink the alcohol to potentiate the pain pills and benzos and shit that I was drinking or, popping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, alcohol, it is a depressant. I mean, especially when you're drinking every day. God, I was so depressed. I was so depressed every day. I was just miserable every day of my life,
And you think that drinking the alcohol is going to help you out of that depression, but it's
and
not.
It's like, I'm going to go ahead and start drinking a little bit early today because I'm not, I'm down in the dumps or whatever. And it just makes it where you can just keep on digging that hole deeper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember, I guess it was about 2.5 weeks after I'd started taking kratom. I was still going and buying alcohol. And I was like, almost just like forcing myself just to drink because it was like a habit. But I was just like, dude, I don't even want to drink anymore. Like, I don't want to drink. Like, that was just such a huge deal in my world. So I just stopped. I mean, it's one of the greatest, because I mean, alcohol will drag you down faster than a lot of things in the world. But
I mean, the University of Purdue is actually creating one of the alkaloids out of kratom for the whole the alcoholics. I cannot pronounce the alkaloid. It's the one that starts with the S.
There's several of them.
Yes.
Yeah, because Christopher Organics, they list 2 of those alkaloids with the S. Like on the front of the label, it's got the 2 main ones we all know, but he has these other ones listed. And I'm so fascinated by it because I'm trying some different greens and I look at those numbers wondering, will it make, so I'm like really paying attention to myself. Let's see if this one, how it makes me feel. Like I'm wondering if it has to do with the way these percentages are with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because normally we don't get that information. There was an interesting one from Carrie. She says, what if someone has drank alcohol for over 40 years and has an actual note from a doctor saying they have to drink or they will die? Is it too late for them?
No.
No, I mean, but you gotta, if you're that hardcore into it, I mean, you can't just stop. I know a lot of people have to, I would suggest like going somewhere. I know my dad was a big alcoholic. My dad was on and off for many, many years. But I mean, he even had to go to a rehab a couple times, I mean, he was pretty far down the hole. But I mean, if you're, that bad to where, you're physically can't handle it, I would not recommend doing it on your own. I would definitely go somewhere and get some help.
I mean, there has been people on my TikTok videos commenting that, they started their kratom journey because they were an alcoholic and they successfully were able to transition, without the deadly consequences that alcohol withdrawal can give you, but, just like that whole saying, everybody is different.
Yeah.
But the one thing I could, like I said, with kratom, the positive side effect was that just the smell of alcohol makes me gag.
Yeah.
I just like, oh, ew. Like when my daughters, my daughters are they're in their 20s, well over their 21s, and they always like, Mom, here, try this. I'm like, ain't no way.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, knock yourself out. But
like I can be around people drinking. It doesn't bother me. Like, I used to would be like, these people are sitting around drinking. I want to drink too, like just, I mean, I like to be drunk and I would drink to get drunk. You know what I mean? But now I don't care anything about it. Don't care at all.
Yeah.
Carrie says this person always drinks at least 20 beers a day. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
wow.
man,
That's a lot.
Oh man, that just Man,
I think I know who you're talking about, Carrie. I'm not gonna say their name, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's like with the pills, you know, like it's not just the substance you're addicted to. You're addicted to popping one open. You're addicted to that first sip. You're addicted to going to your refrigerator, getting it out.
Going to the liquor store and talking to the people that own it because you're good friends with them. And
yes.
They're involved in, you know, just the whole, you know, or if you go to a bar and drink, you know, you're used to hanging out at the bar with the people. I mean, it is a thing. I mean, it's a routine. It's a lifestyle, you know, it's hard. It's hard, but you have to make that choice, you know. Like, I didn't even know people took Kratom for alcohol until after I had been taking it. I don't know. I read it somewhere and I'm like, really? That must be why I don't want to drink anymore. That's awesome. You know?
Yeah, I didn't know about it either until like just hearing about it after I'd started. I'm like, well, that's cool that helps people with that.
Yeah.
Carrie says they started drinking after the death of their brother.
Yeah. I've got somebody that's kind of going down that rabbit hole right now. Like, you know, when your parents died, I've only, you know, my dad passed away a couple of years ago and it's been pretty tough. But I mean, I can't imagine where I'd be at right now if I didn't have Kratom. I could have very well easily been down a horrible, horrible rabbit hole with drinking. But, you know, it's one of those things somebody has to wake up and do and see and want to change.
Right.
And get out of.
And Twinkle, I don't know if you're going to watch this replay or not. I know you're going through it right now, but girl, don't go back down that hole. You know, I know I don't want to really talk about what she's going through, but I'm sure it's entered her mind, you know, to want to escape because she's dealing with the death right now. But don't do it. Don't do it, Twinkle.
Yeah.
We love you, Twinkle.
I'm glad she was able to go.
I know. I saw that post.
Yeah. We're thinking about you, Twinkle.
We are sending love to you.
Yeah. Will, would y'all like to watch a video?
Let's watch a video.
Yeah.
We've been chatting a lot. I love this. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to adjust it because I mean, my God, we've already been going for an hour and 15 minutes here. I was going to play a long one today, but I think I'll save it for next week. Because it's 20.
It never feels that long.
I know, but something that's 28 minutes will take us like an hour, more than an hour to do. So I'm going to save it. But I always have lots of videos. I have one I've been saving that I've been wanting to play for a while. It was just further down my list. But this is going to be a fun one. And it's not short. It's a little bit longer. This is a 7.5 minute video. But I thought this would just be something kind of fun. It's from a year ago from Blake Pape. So it's...
I love Harrison's videos.
Harrison. I could think of his last
name. They're really creative.
Harrison is so good. He's so creative with his videos. I hate that he lost his TikTok because those videos were so good. He did not start a new TikTok, but he has a really good YouTube. And this was a video I came across a while back. And the title of it is Top 5 Ways to Take Kratom. And it's really interesting because he just goes through all these various methods. And I think this is a great video for anybody that's new to Kratom, anybody researching, but then for all of us that have been consuming it a long time, it's interesting to see all the different ways that people take it. I thought it'd be fun to watch it, and then we can talk about the different ways, how we each take it, hear comments from those watching live of how they consume it. I think it'll just make for an interesting conversation. So let's watch that. And let me know if y'all want me to stop at any point to talk about it. But let's cue it up.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you the 5 main ways to take your Kratom powder and the pros and cons of each. I'm going to do this real quick just to save you and myself some time. All right, so number 1, mixing Kratom in water. This is very obvious and it's absolutely gross, but some people like to do this. I'm going to show you what that looks like. First things first, you always use a scale. I can link to a scale below. That's very good. So what you do is put water in a cup, obviously. You weigh out your powder, okay, and then you just mix it. Simple. When mixing, you will notice that Kratom is a little hydrophobic, so it takes a while to dissolve. If you want to speed up this process, use hot water. That's a little trick. Now you notice that I didn't put a lot of water in this. That is another trick. You don't want to fill it up with too much water. Otherwise, you have this really disgusting, murky water that you have, like mud that you have to swallow. That's gross.
Swamp ass.
Just do a little bit of it.
I do a little bit like what he's doing.
And then chase it down with something like orange juice. And you basically would just have to real quick, hold your nose, chug it, and then drink some orange juice, wash out your mouth before you breathe. Otherwise, it's absolutely disgusting. One thing is, though, that if you'll use a lot of orange juice, it's expensive and it's a lot of calories. Some people like to put it in a shaker cup and shake it up. It dissolves a little quicker. I suggest not doing this. Just use hot water and stir it, because if you shake it up, it's going to cause a crap ton of bubbles to build up. And you have all these bubbles that you have to wait to go down. It's not my favorite method, although it's very easy and simple to process, right? The next method would be to make tea, okay? So I made this tea yesterday to give you an example. What you want to do is you want to boil the water and then take it off the stove and let it cool about 20 degrees or so, because too high of a temperature boiling will cause the alkaloids to start to degrade. So once it's a little cooled down off the boiling, you just pour your powder in, mix it up just like we did with that. And then make sure you get non-bleached coffee filters. Use glass mason jars or something glass. Do not use plastic with hot water ever. There's other phytoestrogens other than BPA and stuff that you should be aware of. Very bad for you. Okay, and what you do is that hot water and kratom, you just put it in here, you put a rubber band around this, and you just pour it right off there into there. And this takes a while to drip in, still tastes absolutely disgusting. Same applies for the mixing it in water. But some people like this. Just whatever you do, never enjoy this. Just chug it.
Yeah. 100%.
I made it for this video because it's freaking gross. You can also squeeze lemon juice into either the water that you're mixing the kratom into with the tea, or just mixing it in water methods, because the citric acid is said to help potentiate kratom.
It does.
I never really noticed a difference, but to each his own. Oh, one thing about that method is that you will end up with a lot of like kratom mud sludge that you can try to filter out and get some more out of, but in my experience, it's not worth it. Even the whole process, it just takes a lot of time, and you're dealing with all this powder and all these moving parts, and then you have to wait for it to drain. That's just one method that you can use if you prefer, but I personally don't like it. So a third and very obvious method is filling your own capsules. Now, obviously, if you buy your capsules pre-filled, that's fine too, but they're going to be a lot more expensive than buying the powder in bulk online, like most people should do if you're taking kratom daily. Otherwise, you're spending way too much on kratom, just saying. But to save money, if you want to fill your own capsules, you can also do that. However, to do this one by one, it's ridiculous. It takes way too long because capsules don't hold that much. Also, depending on the capsules you get, you have gelatin, hypomethylcellulose, which is not real vegan, and then you also have vegan palaline capsules. But we suggest the palaline and the gelatin capsules. And to save time, you're going to want a capsule filling machine. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll post a link to where you can buy one of these below. It's basically just like a 100 capsule filling machine. You put your capsules in here, you pour them in, and you put them in one by one, and then you fill it up with powder. It takes like 15 to 20 minutes to fill 100 capsules, and depending on the capsule size that you're using, you might be able to get a fair amount in there. The largest capsule size holds about 1.37 milliliters, which is about 0.75 to 0.8 grams. So not a full gram. But again, this takes time to do and prepare if you're looking to save the money by buying the powder like many do. Now there's also the toss and wash method. Using this,
that's me.
What you do is you basically take a scoop of your kratom, you throw it in your mouth, and you chug it with water real quick hopefully before you taste it. Now, the ways to do that is you can take a swig of water first, hold it in your mouth, put the powder on top, and then take another swig and swallow it down. Try not to taste it on the way down. Exactly. You will notice, though, that it doesn't work every time.
You still tasted it.
I personally don't like it because I don't do it right every time. I still taste it. Also, if you do want to weigh out your powder beforehand, it's hard to do because you're basically scooping it and putting it right in your mouth. You wouldn't be able to know your dosage as much unless you're using, like maybe the same powder all the time and the same measuring scoop. All right, and the final method, I might be a little biased, but it's also actually the best method if you consider all the pros and cons. Using edible gel films. Now, these are the pouches. Edible films dissolve and break instantly upon swallowing, so it'll hit you a lot quicker than using capsules. They also hold a lot more than capsules, so you only usually need to take one. It can hold usually between 2 and 4 grams. You always want to use a scale. This makes it pretty easy. I'll just kind of show you what it looks like, right? So this is made of only potato starch, and it's very thin. So just make sure your hands aren't wet. You just close and you fold over the top. All right, so it's just like a pouch, like a cone pouch holding your powder. You're gonna dip this in water, and it's gonna soak water because this starch, the potato starch, gels up, and it becomes a gel around the powder. And so that lets you swallow it very easily, and it also absorbs a lot quicker than using capsules. Now, there's a few ways you could do it. You could either dip it in water, you could dip it and drop in the water and let it float, and then swallow it. Basically, just fold it over, you just dip it in water, it'll gel up, put it in your mouth.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
And you swallow with another sip of water. Like I said, so that'll hit you quicker than capsules do, and you don't have to fill up a bunch at one time. You can just put it in, dip it, and boom. You can actually do it in like under 20 seconds. Now, out of these methods, the two that for sure you don't taste anything every time are by using edible gel films or using capsules. The capsules don't hit as quickly as the edible gel films, and they take longer to fill up, etc. So that's why I prefer using edible films. Now, as the owner of Blade Pape's Edible Gel Films, you might just think that I'm trying to sell you something. You don't even have to go by this method. I'm just letting you know. Just try them out for yourself. See which one you like better. Now, if I didn't have capsules, or if I didn't have the edible gel films, or if I want to try something else, the method that I would prefer if I didn't have these would be to use the mixing in water and then just hold my breath, take a swig, and then take another swig of orange juice and just wash it around my mouth and try not to taste it. But yeah, those are the 5 main ways to take your kratom powder. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know how you do it. And then follow us for more informative videos like this on kratom, herbs, mushroom supplements, edible films, capsules, all that. We do it a lot.
Did you ever ask him why his shirt, why does it say your mom's favorite?
I don't know. I didn't ask that. I'm not sure why it says that.
Because a while back when he saw me on TikTok, he wanted to send me a package, you know, and I was like, okay, that's a good idea, because I'll just do a contest with it, which is, you know, what I did. Yeah. And he sent me the pouches and the shirt that says your mom's favorite, and then a little sticker and little digital scales and all that stuff. I wonder where he got that tagline. Right. Like, does he have a brother or sister or something?
I don't know. That's a good one. We'll have to ask him that.
Yeah, I'm going to be thinking about that now.
But I like that video because he just shows all the different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, you know, learning how that you know, that's why I always ask in the podcast, Kratom Stories podcast, like if they're comfortable, the guest is comfortable talking about it, like what kind they take, how much, and how do they take it. And it's always interesting to learn from other people how they consume it, for sure. But when he first starts the video, it's like, well, if you use cold water, it's not going to mix at all.
Yeah.
Like I learned that very quickly.
Yeah.
Because you try doing that and it's like, it won't mix. It's like hot water, warm water, something where it'll mix. And that's been my go-to.
So I started off on capsules, you know, and then one day I damn near died. Like literally the capsule went down sideways. And I was looking for my kids. I was like, oh my God, you know, somebody's going to need to do the Heimlich maneuver on my ass, you know? So I went and ran to the sink and hurried up and swallowed some warm water so it helped dissolve the capsule to go down. But my life flashed before my eyes, y'all. So that right there was like the main point of me switching from the capsules onto powder. And I was initially mixing it with the water. I got chills.
Like you did in DC with us.
Yes, yes. So then after that, I perfected the toss and wash method. So I've been a toss and washer for years now. I toss and wash with orange juice. Very rarely I'll mix it in with the orange juice and let it sit, you know, let it just marinate and get them alkaloids out and stuff like that. Or I'll do a video like I did in DC and mix it with the
Yeah, I used to do just a little bit, like the little shot glass type of thing, mix it up, let it sit out. But I mean, I'll be honest, I'm just kind of lazy, so I just toss and wash. Once I got that down, I'm like, dude, I'll never go back. I mean, every now and then, I know I used to do like, you know, the red bubble method where you freeze it.
I tried that.
And the only reason I would do it that way, I never noticed it potentiating anything, but I would put it in like a tiny like cup. And then say if we were going to watch a movie or something later on that night, I would put it in a bigger cup of like lemonade and just sip on it, which I know sounds gross, but I love the taste of it. You know, it's taste of pain relief, but you know, I would call that my kratom wine, you know? But that's about. I haven't done that in a couple of years now. But yeah, I'm just.
And I started out doing the toss and wash, and I don't know
Did
what
you?
changed it, but I ended up just doing the swamp water method from now on. I can't stand mixing it in orange juice or anything. I can't stand the
Yeah.
texture. So I just mix it up. And I even put a lot of water in it. Like I'll fill it halfway up with water and I can just chug it down. So I don't know what changed, but
I have to do a small amount of water. Oh my gosh. I get mad at myself if I accidentally do a little too much. I'm like, I gotta drink all this. Ugh.
well,
Yeah.
sometimes I put too much and forget that I've added too much and I'll only drink like the same amount I would normally drink. And then I realize that it either doesn't last as long or I'm not getting as, I'm like, what's going on? I know I just drank it. And then I realized that I didn't drink it all. Or sometimes I didn't even drink it yet.
Right. Jennifer, Gabby wants to know more about that frozen method.
Oh, the
red bubble
method. It's like what you do is you take your kratom and then you mix it up real good and you put lemon juice or citric acid or something that is supposed to like pull the alkaloids out of your kratom. You let it sit out for say an hour or so before you put it in the freezer. Then you can put it in the freezer and let it freeze overnight, say 8 hours or so. And when you go back the next morning or whenever you get it out, it'll have like a little red bubble on the top to where all the alkaloids have been pulled out. And you can either cut off all the plant matter and drink, let it thaw out and drink it that way, or you can just thaw it out and drink away. Plant matter.
Google red bubble kratom, and it has like different recipes and stuff.
I remember hearing about it.
I tried that too. Like close to the beginning of my kratom journey because I kept seeing about it and stuff, but I don't really remember if it.
I didn't notice a big difference, but I just thought it was,
the bubble was sexy though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like so cool. It's cool, but it's just it's a lot of work for that.
It was too much work because I remember seeing that early on as well. People were talking about in the Facebook groups. They show pictures of it. Everybody go ooh ah, and I'll be like, what? So I remember trying it once and I couldn't get it to do it right.
But
I'm like,
this
cool.
Is too much when work. You see that little red bubble at the top, you're like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. I like the idea. I've heard some say about adding a little bit of like Kool-Aid powder to it. Like isn't that citric acid too? Just Kool-Aid powder. Add to it to make it taste better.
Yeah,
I haven't done it, but it just sounds good.
Yeah, another one early on people were talking about was those honey balls. So I tried that one time. I'm like, this is too much work too, and it wasn't even that good. Nah, it wasn't even that good. So
that's way too much work.
I stick to my swamp water because that's what works, and I do the Blake Papes periodically. I like Blake Papes, so I'm more in a rush because what I did for years, because I didn't know any better, is I would drink the swamp water hot, right out of the microwave, heat it up, add the kratom and add orange juice and drink it hot. And it was so gross. And then one day, a couple of years into it, I'm like, and this, mind you, I take this 4 times a day. So I'm like, one day out of the blue, I'm like, why don't I make it ahead of time, let it cool off a bit? So why did I not think of that? So I'm in that habit. I've been doing that for years now. It's like, well, at least it doesn't have to be hot. If it sits out for like a good hour or so, it's cooled off. And then sometimes I'm in a rush. I'm like, shoot, I didn't make it early enough. So I'll just do the Blake Papes. I love Blake Papes.
Yeah.
And it's a great method. I just don't want to do it all. I don't want to do it 4 times a day.
Well, that's why I like weighing mine out in the bottles. Like I'll weigh 6 bottles out each evening. And then if I don't use them all, they're there for the next day. And then when I wake up in the morning and I'm hurting so bad, all I have to do is like crawl up and add water, shake it up and come back. And then,
which is smart. I saw people when I was
later, I'm fine.
When I first started, I remember people talking about that in one of the Facebook groups. I'm like, and for me, it's like, well, I work from home. It's not like it seemed perfect. Like when you have a job out of the home and you can just mix up, for the whole day and have it with you. And that's what people were talking about. And I'm like, yeah, but I can just make it as I need it. And early on, you're listening to your body and letting that dictate. So I wasn't on a schedule at first, but then I just became a creature of habit. So I just like making my swamp water tea. As gross as, and another thing I picked up years later was using a straw. Doesn't taste as bad when you use a straw because think about it, it goes right down a lot quicker without you having to taste. I mean, you still taste it, but not nearly as bad. And then tart cherry juice.
Well, the one thing I always thought about was I had seen the people that make the beer bottles talking about the different bottles and how they try and make it sort of flow down easily. So when I drink out of my Kratom bottles, or when I pick my bottles, that's what I want. I want a larger opening so that it just goes down. I don't taste it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anne's here. Hey, Anne. Anne's asking, how long have you all been using Kratom? Interesting question you ask, because three of us here have been consuming it for 5 years.
5 years yesterday.
But yeah, I know. Yesterday, congrats, Jennifer. Your 5 years. Let me go grab that banner. Happy 5-year Kratomversary to Jennifer. That's just, yeah, there you go. I love that you're the only one that can do that on here. That's so cool. Yeah, Misty, and Jennifer are at the 5-year mark. Venus, you're at the
8-year mark.
8-year mark.
I'm back to my birthday of 2016 is when, I know it was a little bit before that, but I know my birthday of 2016 that my mom and I went to the beach and I had Kratom. So I just don't know when the date was, the exact date. So I'm just going to use my birthday, April 19th, 2016, and go with that.
Heidi says, it's all too much trouble. Sister and I make 400 capsules in 15 minutes. Damn, what kind of... You must have one of those, make the capsule maker with the 100 like Harrison was showing in the video.
Harrison got in trouble for that capsule maker machines.
Yeah, he was selling, I know he sells them on the Blade Papes website. And by the way, bladepapes.com, if anybody wants to go try those. Great product. But yeah, he got in trouble for putting that.
The DEA came knocking on their door.
Yeah. Craig says, I have my plastic beaker to weigh on my scale, my plastic funnel, pour in a bottle of water with my flavor packet, shake it up. I like to make lots of drinks for a few days. That's smart. And Heidi says, I also use crushed leaf in a tea strainer and a sugar-free raspberry flavor. It's delicious. That's cool. Venus, your mom says she was thinking 2016.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Thanks, Mom.
Heidi says it's a 400 capsule maker. Holy cow. How big is that thing? Because the one Harrison was showing was 100. Wow, that thing must be pretty big. Yeah, this.
I just remember when I was doing the capsules that it always made me feel full and bloated.
Yeah, same here.
And the whole, I don't know. When people ask how come I don't consume the capsules anymore, like you guys know my story of almost dying from it. But that's also why, because it was that bloated feeling that I was always feeling. So I always tell people, when I switched from capsules to the powder, that was my game changer.
Yeah,
that right there really, the absorption, all that stuff, hit faster and.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like you're consuming so much more material when you use a capsule.
I think that's why it feels so heavy in your stomach and why you feel bloated, because it's just sitting there and they don't really open up as well. And I know people said poke holes in it. I tried that. It didn't make any difference. So look, I didn't want to do swamp water. I did not want to have to taste it. Everybody talked about how bad it tasted, but the capsules were not doing anything. So I knew I just had to toughen up and just do it, as gross as it tasted. Hold on, there were a couple other comments. Anne was asking because she was wondering if there were any adverse effects of using it daily for years. No, we've all been consuming it every day, multiple times a day for years.
Yeah. Dehydration. So it's vitally important.
Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Yeah, for sure. Gabby says anyone who buys a pill machine, your name goes on a DEA list, according to Amazon.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Heidi says she'll do a video when she's in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see what that looks like. 400 capsules. That's do that.
Heidi, you should do a before and after video. You should do a video while you're in Wisconsin and then do an after video of while you're in Illinois so that people could see, you know, because you can't consume kratom in Wisconsin, but damn it, you cross over into Illinois, it's like, hey, kratom happy here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You know, there's a comment from earlier. I want to pull back up because I didn't show it yet. Venus's mom, I'm a Pip, said, listening to you ladies never seems too long. You always have interesting things to say, as well as the videos you pull up for us to learn from. Well, thank you for that really nice comment. We love our fans. Y'all are also great for just spending your day and hanging out.
Yeah.
We love the pals.
Yes.
Yes, our kratom
Gals and the
pals.
pals.
Heidi says she doesn't have the energy to do a video in Wisconsin. I do not blame her. So Lisa says,
take a video of you laying in your bed.
I was going to say the same thing.
There you go. Like, this is me in, you know, laying in bed, this is me in bed because I'm in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Lisa says, I find powder works much better than capsules. That seems to be a really general consensus. I think if people are using capsules and it's working, like if it works, it works. That's great.
Yeah,
it makes me wonder if you're using capsules and you've not done the powder because you don't want to have to taste it, try the powder.
Yeah,
you might find it works a lot better.
Yep.
Because for me, it was night and day how much better it worked.
Yeah.
I
got them for like traveling, but I ended up just like, if I always have like a little bottle of, you know, pre-dosed out. So if I need to put water in it while I'm out, I can just shake it up. But
that's a good idea.
I don't even like them when I'm traveling. It's just too much.
Thanks, Gabby, for the nice compliment. Loves.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank
all you ladies and live streams and information, informative and entertaining. Yep, we're definitely informative. It gets entertaining because Misty's here. You always make it entertaining, Misty. For sure. Well, let's watch a few more videos. I mean, we're already coming up. We've already been here for an hour and 41 minutes. It never feels like it, ever.
No.
But I'm going to save that long one for next week because there's, and it might be one that y'all have seen. It came out a few weeks ago. It was that Florida radio program.
Oh, yeah.
It was like half an hour long and they were taking call-ins and stuff. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but it sounded interesting. And I'm sure there's plenty of things that would give us things to talk about.
All right.
I mean, was it well-rounded? What was y'all's?
I didn't listen to the whole thing either.
I didn't either.
Okay. Well, then we'll listen to it. We just don't have time today.
Be surprised.
Because what we've learned in this live stream program is that when we have something longer like that, like how long did it take us, that kid that had that 10-minute segment for us to watch? It took us like over an hour.
Oh, what was this? Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia.
But with this one being a 28-minute audio program, it's going to take us a while to go through it. We might just need to just dedicate next Saturday to just that. I probably should start with it because it'll take us the whole time to go through it. But I have other videos, so why don't we? And these are all shorter, so let's go watch some more videos to chat. And for anybody that's just joining us, we're the Kratom Gals. We come together every Saturday. We hang out for a few hours. We watch videos from things we find all over the internet, mostly YouTube. Good, bad, and ugly things about kratom. A lot of the ones we watched today were good. We've been watching like really good, positive ones for a change, and I still have more. Actually, I think everything I have still here is all pretty positive. So next up is I just came across it. It just came out a couple of days ago. It's a smoke shop in New Jersey called Sci-Fly, which I love this name, Sci-Fly Smoke Shop. And they just started like a podcast, but they're doing it as a live stream. And this is episode 4, Kratom 101. It's like an hour long, but I just pulled out like a little blurb at the end because these guys seem really cool. So let me cue this up. We'll take a listen.
So if you want to learn about kratom, there's a lot of resources out there. There's a documentary called A Leaf of Faith that was made back in like 2018. Very, very good resource for kind of learning about kratom and getting started. If you're local, you can always come to the shop here in Mount Laurel. I love talking about kratom, and I've helped a lot of people use it and get started with using it, and it helped to improve their situations. But you want to talk to somebody like me before you do this. Doctors aren't necessarily very versed in kratom or its effects, so they're pretty much always tell you they don't suggest it. That's not their fault. They obviously shouldn't go into a realm of things they don't understand. But there are studies being done pretty regularly that are kind of opening the eyes of medical professionals to kratom. So as the years go on, they will get better at this. But if you are interested in kratom, I urge you to talk to either somebody that like myself or somebody online. Reddit's a good place to find a lot of kratom experts. But don't just go in a head shop and say, I want this, and start taking. Okay? You need to learn what you're doing first, because you can waste your money, right? Or you can get yourself in a situation that's just not physically comfortable. You got to be careful. And for instance, if you guys want to ask questions in the comments, I will answer them. If you guys have any further questions about anything to do with kratom, ask us in the comments. If you have an experience or something you've been through with kratom, we would love to hear about it.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
We should invite him on.
That when I was watching this, I'm like, I want to like reach out to this guy. It was easy for me. Word of advice. This is just from my decades of teaching digital marketing, social media. I had to like actually go Google him to find him. He has this YouTube, he has this podcast, but when you go to the about section on his YouTube, there's no link to his website. It's like always put a link to your website, especially a business. I see the name of the shop in the video, so I just Google it and found he's in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Does that sound right? Mount Laurel, I think it's. And I'm definitely gonna reach out. He's the owner, Mark Sanders. Seems like a really interesting guy. Him and his friend, they do this little podcast, but that was like an hour-long discussion about kratom. I just like that part at the end where, giving great advice, like research, learn about it.
Either have him, have him on our live stream, and then hopefully, or have him invite us to their live stream,
right?
So that we can answer the questions that people have in the comments.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
that'd be fun.
I mean, theirs is not specifically a kratom. It's called the Smarter High Cannabis Education with Sci-Fly Smoke Shop. They just end up dedicating this one particular episode to kratom, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and this other guy seem really interesting. I will have the links to all the videos for anybody that's newer to our program, all the links of all these videos, because I'm just showing little clips of things. But if you want to see the full videos of all of these, I will have them in the description over on our YouTube channel a little later today. Just go to YouTube, look for Kratom Stories podcast, and you'll see this live stream, and I'll make sure they're all in the description. I'll send you gals, the links as well, so y'all can share them out if you like. But that was just. Oh, go ahead.
Would you go to my YouTube so that you could show the eyes and mouth?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
For the gray-haired pube crew who wanted to freaking use my identity.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. I don't know why I didn't think to do that before. Let me go
freaking laugh. I laugh so hard every single time I reread my posts I put up about it.
Oh, now you did 2 of those videos. Oh, one of them got 372 views. That's awesome. Do you want me to play both? Or just okay.
Play the one without my comment reply on that. Play that one first.
Well, I can't tell which ones. I just see 2 of them in the feed.
The one that has the lesser views.
Okay. All right, hold on. It's gonna take me a second. I gotta.
Like these motherfuckers, man.
You're so creative. I love how you did this. It's so cool.
Well, and in my eyes, I could see them being like, "Yeah, we got her. She's gonna be so pissed. She's gonna just be, and it's like, okay, well,
I don't know if I want to do this
constructive with your anger.
I initially was, angry, like I said, but I took a step back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make content from this.
As you should. That's smart. I don't know how to make this full screen though. This is kind of weird. Because when I pull it up like this, it's so small.
Oh, dang.
I know. I'm trying to figure out like how to. I don't see a way to make this full screen. Let me go to just get your TikTok. That'll be easier.
Okay. I want all the folks that are watching this.
Because it's too small.
Yeah, I want y'all to see what happened because like I said, I still feel violated. Like, how dare you do that?
Oh,
you
yeah.
stooped so low.
So petty.
Are y'all still on your knees for stooping that low?
Yeah.
Why don't you explain like what exactly these people did?
Okay, so the Virginia Board of Pharmacy is trying to make kratom a Schedule I drug. So we found out about that petition just a couple days before the comment period closed. So we were rallying everybody up to, not riling, but rallying everybody up to go drop their testimonies and stuff in that comment section for this government petition that's going on in Virginia. So I didn't even know that someone was using my identity till someone alerted me about it. And then so I went and just briefly looked through the comments. I did not look. There was like 2,900 something comments.
Yeah.
A lot of them were anonymous comments. And I can almost guarantee you they were almost one or two or three people from our anti-group, that just sat there all damn day and just posted up anonymous comments. You weren't even required to put your email address in there. So somebody's, sat there and just was filling up that comment section with a bunch of hate about kratom. How it should be a Schedule I drug. Yep. Dropped a lot.
It was just so childish sounding.
It's so childish. But you did a great comeback on that. So we're going to play both of them. They're both short. I'm going to put this up. This is as big as I can make this one too. So sorry for anybody watching on their phone because there's no way for me to make it just this. But let's watch. I love that.
You think it's cute pretending to be me? Unhinged much? Grief is an addiction by itself, especially when you do immoral shit like this. Get off social media and heal. Because KDA, this is not a good look for y'all. You're on a public platform pretending to be me. I can't believe how old you guys are. You are literally grandmas. And you're acting this way on a government page. Like I said, this is not a good look for y'all. So listen up, folks. The comment period ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. Click on my Linktree link in my bio. Click on Protect Virginia Kratom Consumers now.
That was so good. I
had to hurry up at the end because I only put the time limit to 1 minute, so I had to hurry up and say my shit at the end.
And I'm gonna play the second one. You got two of them, so this is the other one.
Y'all are giving me some great content today, so I thank you. Kratom does not meet the 8-factor analysis to be a scheduled drug. Kratom is not even a drug. Keep those unhinged comments coming because you're giving me content. KDA ain't the way. Y'all do nothing but lie, and lie some more. Y'all are lying because you got future lawsuits. What y'all gonna do when you finally get that paycheck? Oh, I know. Y'all will continue posting up pictures about going to concerts and drinking your alcohol. Alcohol's a drug, by the way. So yeah, keep pretending to be me because you're giving me content.
Oh, I love that. And then Heidi said to post Bud's. He had a good one too. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, go find his. He posted up his own. And I do edit it. So that
it's just so petty.
It is.
And Misty, you're right. I mean, once they get that check, it's not going to give them that feeling that they think they're going to get.
They're not going to
feel any better.
They're not going to
get all those lawyers that are buddy with them right now. They're going to be like deuces.
Yeah. Yep. See you later.
Yeah.
We're on to the next victims.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is the duet that Bud did.
You think it's cute? Oh no, he just
Pretending to be
duetted
me?
mine. Go find
Unhinged.
his.
I thought that
Much-
was the one where he keeps popping in. That's not that one.
No, the one he keeps popping in is when the AKA gave him a shout out.
So which
Oh,
one?
yeah.
Oh, this one right here.
I see individuals
That the one?
who will sacrifice
No.
to go to their state
I
capital.
love this though.
Bud Smith up in New York is the
Y'all, that messed with me so bad when I
Oh,
first
me
watched
too.
it. I thought that I was like, whenever you're recording yourself for a second, I was like, hold on, I'm watching
What?
something.
Oh, is it this one over here? Is this it?
Yeah,
so you guys
that's
need to
it.
go to this website that I'll put in the link, and you need to leave a comment about how Kratom helped you. The Kratom Danger Awareness Group, a bunch of extremists that won't listen to anyone, are now commenting under other people's names. So at the very bottom there, it says, Bud the Swamp Guy. Kratom gets me high AF. Big Pharma always taking away our drugs. Well, everyone, including the FDA, knows that Kratom is not a drug. It's classified as a food. Let's read here in the middle. Mac Haddo. People are dying from Kratom. So what? They can die from drinking too much water. You guys need to go to this website, this Virginia Town Hall, and you need to leave comments about how Kratom helped you. And don't be petty like the KDA. Don't leave garbage comments. Leave the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys need to go to the...
Yeah, they even
Yeah.
pretended to be Mac Haddo.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But I mean, you see people like that, just getting so upset because they're, and I mean, I'm not saying they're losing, but they obviously were outnumbered.
Oh,
But,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Just
For sure.
so upset. Like they just can't handle it to where they have to go and start acting like, just lying and saying there's someone else. Like that's pretty bad.
And
I
they
just-
want to talk.
Yeah.
They want to talk about. They want to say that us Kratom addicts are trying to save our drug of choice, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
We're not
We're just
addicted to
trying
Kratom.
to be left alone and
Yeah.
live our life.
Yeah. Instead, they're just being petty and they just play so dirty. I just can't get over how dirty they do. It's
Yeah.
and like Misty said in the videos, they're grandmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Act
Go
your
like
age.
have fun. Go be with your
Jeez.
grandkids. Go do stuff with the family that you still have. Go spend the time with your family that you still have. Yeah, it sucks, losing someone that you love. But that should make you cherish the people that you have in your life even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't look at their grandkids the same way because their son or daughter
Yeah.
supposedly died from Kratom, which they don't even realize they were most likely lied to by the coroner.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
Exactly.
and they don't want to show their talk screen. So we don't know what else was in their system.
Right.
Yeah.
We
And they
don't
should
know
be
if the
thankful
Kratom-
for that. They need to be thankful for that extra time that Kratom actually gave them
Yeah.
and figure out what actually, they deserve to know what actually killed their.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
I believe that too. I mean, if it were me, I would want to know.
Yeah.
I would want to know.
So,
And
Yeah.
I would not rest until I knew. I wouldn't just sit there and take some BS from a corner because that's what they were told to say.
right.
Yeah.
And just go with
Or
that.
because, oh, well, it was on the scene. It's not, it's just not right. It's not right
Was
for
the
everybody.
Kratom that they were consuming, was it ever tested?
Mhm.
There's
Right.
so many unanswered questions that
Right.
they don't even care. They just got that trial attorney that's promising them
Yep.
a future payout. But here, let's go do a smear campaign on all social media so that we can make sure that when this goes to trial, that the juries have already heard your stories. Let's sway the court of public opinion in your favor.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Great comment from Craig. And Carrie's right. They cherish that paycheck that they're going to get.
Yes.
But that
That's not
paycheck
gonna
is
make
not
them
going to fill
happy.
that hole in
No.
your heart.
No.
No.
And if these gray-haired pube crews, if they're currently trapped in some sort of active addiction, that paycheck is going to further their addiction.
Of course.
Yep.
100%. And Venus's mom did a awesome comment just a little while ago. She said, I have to admit, I was worried at first when Venus learned about Kratom, but then I became educated and saw how much it helped Venus. Of course, she has an excellent vendor. I
You
love
took the
that.
time. You took the time, Pip.
Yep.
Your daughter's not tripping. We're not tripping.
Yeah.
And how dare them call us Kratom addicts? That is
Yeah.
just so.
Yeah.
Look, there's going to come a time where they're going to suffer from chronic pain because as we
Everyone
age,
does
as
at
we
some
age, you
point.
cannot get away from that. And being
Yeah.
with their grandmas, they probably already do. Who knows? Maybe they're secretly taking their Kratom, or they're taking their opioids from their
Yep.
FDA-approved opioids from their pain management doctor. Are we going to judge them for that? Hell no. We
No.
understand, you know.
No, but we're
uh,
judging their behavior now.
100%.
On how they're acting now. That is petty ass shit that people do in active addiction.
Yep.
And they
Immoral
need,
shit.
I think they need to think back to also how were they before that? I mean, were they out living their lives doing stuff? You know, the things that we're doing when we found Kratom, and then whatever was wrong with them, you know, the pre-existing conditions that we all,
Yeah.
you know, that's what happened. What were they doing before this happened?
Right.
So,
Exactly. Anne's asking, do we ever do reviews on brands and or strains? No, this is not a review channel. We're here just to talk about Kratom, watch videos together, and react to them.
My favorite strain is green, though, especially green melee. That's my favorite strain.
Super greens for me. I love super
Green,
greens.
yeah.
They help
Yeah,
my pain
green.
so much.
and I like them all, unless they're too fast, too much
You're so
energy.
lucky. You're so lucky. I feel like I'm wasting my time with reds. Like whenever like sometimes a vendor will send like extras, like sample packs of stuff, and they always send me reds and they never send greens. Obviously, it's like bestsellers. You always hear greens always are bestsellers. So I always like get a little packet of white or reds from time. And I'm like, and so every so often I go, I'll just try some. It's been years. It'll work. No, every time I do it, I regret it every single time.
Yellow Borneo is pretty fire. I like yellow every now and then.
Yellow is mellow.
Yellow is mellow.
I'm gonna try some. I tried. In the beginning, I tried everything, and I remember in my journal, I remember the yellows, but I didn't try it I just remember trying just a few times. But I did recently get a sample pack of yellows from a vendor, and I remember thinking, maybe I should try some and see. Who knows? But so is yellow technically what? The red and white, or how is that one blended?
I
know they're all different.
I think it depends. Some people have a yellow that's like a red and a green combined. I think usually if it's a gold, it's a white and a red, though.
Okay. I get confused with some of these.
Yeah, I think it just depends from vendor to vendor.
Depends on the vendor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craig says he'll suggest some reds off camera for me. I've tried pretty much every red that there is from multiple vendors. I even have a blend. I tried this a few years ago. So it's a blend of it's green with a little bit of red. I thought, okay, that sounds like an interesting blend. At least it's mostly green. So what I will do sometimes in the evening, because it doesn't not work, but I think it's because it's mostly green. I do half of my regular green, and I do not even half. I do like a quarter of a teaspoon. So I do like a half a teaspoon. So it's not even that much. Because I do 2 teaspoons. So a quarter of that, of my dose is this blend. But I figure it has a little bit of red. Maybe it'll help me in the evening. So I'll sleep better. Yeah. But I tell you what, so y'all notice that Emily Botanical Queens is back. If you've seen her on TikTok and YouTube, man, she is back in it.
Is she?
Yeah, because, she teaches. She's a teacher, right?
Yeah.
So, we hadn't heard from her. And so all school year, right? And I guess school's out, right? So she is I'm seeing TikToks and YouTubes all over the place from her. I'm so glad she's back. But, I learned a lot about supplements from her when she would come on our chats last summer, the Thursday
spaces.
You're
spacing out of spaces.
I know, because I'm trying to remember. There's so many things we do here. Anyway, I know she's really big with supplements. And so I was recently on one of her videos. I'm like, I'm going to go look to see this, she's been talking about mushrooms and stuff. not psychedelic, just the supplement kind, lion's mane and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to look into this. And I don't remember the name of it, but there was some brand she talked about in one of her videos. So I went on the website. This is very recently, and I researched. And so I tried, I'm trying 2 different products. One is like, I did some capsules in the morning. I think that might be I don't know. Is lion's mane more of the relaxing or the more
I have no idea.
morning for brain function?
That one's, I think lion's mane is supposed to, like brain function and even
okay, so I think that's the morning one. And so like there's some capsules I'll do in the morning, and it's like that plus a variety of things. And usually stuff like that doesn't do anything to me. Like honestly, I feel like I'm just paying all this money for nothing.
I did the whole mushroom coffee thing and I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I mean it hasn't been that long yet, so I'm just trying to give it a chance. And it's kind of like 1 to 3 capsules. So I started with 1, didn't do it 2, and one time I took 3, and I'm like, but sometimes with 2 I feel like maybe it's doing something.
I guess, it's like with ashwagandha, you kind of got to take it for a while. Like when I was taking ashwagandha, I didn't notice difference until I was like 6 weeks in. So maybe that's
what I was wondering
stuff.
too. So the nighttime one is a gummy, and this ashwagandha is one of the other mushrooms. It's a couple of other things that's more of a relaxing. And so I tried the gummy and I'm like, whoa, that's pretty relaxing. This is not bad. But I felt like it was too much. So I have to like cut them up. It's like when Delta 8 became a thing, because, living in Texas where, we don't get the recreational cannabis, but we can do Delta 8. And I was doing those gummies for a while to help me sleep. And man, some of those are really strong. Like I had to cut them into quarters. Some of those are so darn strong. But this gummy I've been trying is not bad. But with me, and I don't know if it's just my body chemistry or what, but I just don't get that consistency. Like it might work good one night. And the next night it doesn't.
That's kind of, I feel you on that. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. It's always been like that with me when I take any type of supplement too. I wish I could be like the mushroom coffee. I've heard so many good things about like the mushroom coffee, for example, but it's
a rage. Like it's been all the rage. For a few years,
and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed. I was pretty disappointed, but you don't know till you try. You don't know till you try if it's gonna work.
Right. Gabby says an Indo farmer says yellow is what they harvest off the ground, but also heard it was a blend. And then Craig says farmers use white vein kratom leaves in a very special drying process to create the yellow hue.
Yeah, it just depends from, where you're getting it from on what they mean by yellow.
Okay. I think I'll just kind of add some to my green and see how that goes. But if it's possibly like some white, then I should take that in the daytime, not at night.
Yeah.
Last time I took some white, I'd gotten some as a sample pack. This wasn't that long ago, maybe 6 months ago. I took it in the afternoon, and mostly green, just a little bit of this white. And I swear to God, my right hand had the shakes for like 2 hours, and my eyes were close to doing it did not quite, but close. And I'm like, what is with the white strain on me? Well, gals, we've been at this for over 2 hours. It's time to wind down. The time goes so fast here; it's crazy. But makes it fun.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Always a good time. So we'll back up next week because I do have more videos for us. I'm sure y'all will come across some videos for me to share as well. And for all those watching us, whether you're live or watching the replay, if you come across any videos you think we should play here on the program, reach out to one of us, let us know, send us the link. So it can be something we share with the community. But yeah, I think next week we'll do that radio program, the 28-minute radio program about kratom, because I'm eager to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of that other one where they took people calling in, and then they had Mac on, and they had those reporters on. It kind of had the feel of that.
Yeah.
They had the same reporters.
They did?
Yeah, it is the same reporters.
Okay.
They're trying to prove that their $400,000 payout is worth it, which they won't admit. They won't admit that kratom lawsuit trial attorney paid them money.
Right.
At least all that is
Conflicts.
fizzled out, though. All that publicity Tampa Bay Times got.
It still pokes its ugly head up every now and then, though.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
at least not as much as it did before.
Yeah.
The anonymous posters on that Board of Pharmacy comment thing was putting that shit in there.
Yeah. Like every
So
time I hear it,
ridiculous.
I can't help but just roll my eyes.
Oh my God.
Here we
Right.
go. Here we go.
Yeah. Crazy with all the misinformation, propaganda out there, and some of the craziness going on in these states, like
Yeah.
Virginia, all
Just
because of
popping
a
up
pharmacy
everywhere.
board. There's one person at the complaining to the pharmacy board.
Yeah, a pharmacist
Yeah.
is trying to be the one that a pharmacist is the one who created that petition.
It's scary because they have so many different committees, and there's just lists and lists and lists. And if they can just slip into different ones and just throw that information out there, it's scary.
It's what Mac, whenever you hear Mac say backdoor ban, this is what he's
Yeah.
talking about. Because
Yeah.
the same thing happened in Nevada and the same thing happened in Ohio.
Yeah. And then what about just Plains just approving their ban on purchasing Kratom
Yeah.
sales out of the blue after they decide to table it for a while and get more information, and then what? No notice, and they just decided to vote and ban.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They still haven't answered my email, so
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy to know that stuff like that just happens and it's okay. And it's just completely, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
you can
And
still
then
you still got to advocate though. You
Yeah, you still have to
gotta-
advocate,
Yeah.
speak
Oh,
out,
yeah.
but they can still do whatever they want. So for all of you guys watching, if you're not aware of these things that are going on around the country, what's happening could possibly be in your community. I mean, Illinois has been under attack. Louisiana's been under attack. Be sure to sign up for the emails from the American Kratom Association, americankratom.org, because at minimum, you'll be made aware of everything going on. I mean, we had just found out the whole Virginia thing. That came out of nowhere.
out of nowhere. 2 days. There's like 2 days ahead of time before the comment period
Yeah.
closed. So they
Yeah,
tried to
so
be
it was already
sneaky.
28 days into the freaking comment period.
Yeah.
They
Like,
tried to be sneaky.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
because
they
when
have
we
to
started
have-
when we started commenting, there was about 20, 22-ish negative, nothing but negative comments. And then once we got a hold of that shit, boom, it took off.
Yeah,
And
because they
then-
have to have a public commenting period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And then
nobody knew
once-
about it.
And then once the KDA saw that oh shit, the advocate, the pro kratom addicts, got involved, and we're being outnumbered. So let's go, y'all.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for all of you here that are Kratom consumers, anybody can go and put a comment on these kinds of forums. You don't, like this was for the state of Virginia, because Virginia is under attack. You do not have to live in Virginia to go and share a comment when things like this come up. So that's why it's important to join the American Kratom Association, so you're made aware, and they make it so easy for us. They'll have the link, like go here, leave a comment. Now, of course, if it's your state, your county, your city, or whatever, you really should be talking to the reps in your area. But when you're out of state or just a whole nother city that's under attack, we can still email, we can still do things to share our story
let
and
your
that
voice be
we're
heard.
against it. Yeah.
Now
that's the most
Tuesday,
important part.
or is it Wednesday? Wednesday, California is going to have a hearing coming up.
And that's for the state, right? A
Yeah,
whole
that's for the
statewide?
state. That's only for the state residents to show up and say, "Hey, I support this bill," or
Yeah. And sometimes it is specific by location.
Yeah. But if you guys live in if anybody lives in California, hit me up, let me know so I can get you in touch with the right people so that y'all can meet up at Sacramento.
Yeah. And what is this one about?
The regulations, the KCP. Well, I don't even know if they're calling it KCPA, Kratom Consumer Protection Act, but it's for the state regulations on Kratom.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
done through the Global Kratom Coalition.
Oh, right. Okay. Because the thing is, if we don't pay attention to these things, Kratom could be taken away from us, and we don't even know it's being taken away. We don't even have the chance to speak out and say, no, don't take this away from me. So
And it's possible you don't know until you're just driving through and get pulled over. You know?
Yep.
Right.
Have to know.
Which is what happens, in various parishes in Louisiana now. So like you could be driving in Louisiana and not even be aware of the fact that there are some certain parishes where it is illegal.
Completely illegal.
Completely. Like you can go to
possession.
jail. Like you can go to jail if you're caught with it.
It's like, oh, you have a little bit of kratom in your purse. You're going to jail for, 10 years to life.
Right.
$1 million fine, whatever they want.
insane?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
You know what's popping up on my Facebook memories today is when we started doing the GoFundMe for Shayna Brown. When we started the very first push.
Wow. Because she went to jail, it was last
April
April.
1st. Yeah.
Yep. Last April.
Wow.
And so, so today was popping up in my memories is the very first of us doing the videos for people to donate to the GoFundMe so that we could get her a lawyer and get her out of jail.
Yeah.
Which we wound up raising about 25
Mhm.
grand. 15 grand went to the lawyer and 7,500 went to bonding her out last December.
Yeah.
And she's still facing 10 to life, y'all.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with her case, she legally purchased kratom in Florida and accidentally crossed over the invisible state line into Alabama and got pulled over there. Her bond was initially $1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million for having kratom in her car.
Oh, that still blows my mind.
It's insane. It is insane.
And to think, just how much we all have in our cabinets right now.
Oh,
yeah.
I have a ton. I always buy in bulk. It's cheaper that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it costs a lot, but it's
you
cheaper
can
for
never
you
have
if you
too
buy
much.
it. No, you can never have too much. And plus, unopened kratom bags, they last forever. I am still consuming right now. I'm on my last bag. I bought it November of 2023. And they were 250 gram bags. I think I bought 4 of them because they were on sale. One of my favorite longtime vendors. And I forgot some of them were just tucked away in the back of a cabinet. And I'm like, oh, I forgot you're back there. So I, open one up. I'm like, just as good, just as fresh, still gives me my pain relief.
That 250 gram bag is why Marshall Price is dead and why Shayna is looking at 10 to life.
It's crazy because that's not even that much.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. Always fun. Always a great time. Join us next week. We'll be back here live doing it again every Saturday.
Right.
And this is
Everybody
always
for coming.
recorded. Yeah. So the replay is available. #replay, as Jennifer always says.
Yeah.
Yep.
If anybody
And we
came
got
late.
the Kratom Guy show on Wednesday.
Yeah, we did.
Yep. Over on Twitter every other
Kratom
Wednesday.
Roundtable. And then we'll
Kratom
have our
Roundtable.
advocacy mastermind meeting after that.
Yep. And then on every Thursday on Twitter, we have our Kratom Real Talk chat discussion, just a support group of us. Just hanging
Man,
out
we
and
do a
talking.
lot.
We do. We do.
I love it.
We're super advocates. I love it too.
That's how I know what day it is.
Yeah.
And I got the podcast, which I have so much fun doing. I just had this great interview yesterday with Scars Rodriguez. He is so interesting. And Misty, you get brought up multiple times. I think you could. I'm gonna have to come up with an award for like the person that gets mentioned the most in interviews, and it's definitely Misty. Misty gets mentioned, and like I'll have to go look because for the show notes, which is just kind of like on the website, like the links to everything that like relevant things that were discussed. I don't know how many times I put Misty's TikTok link in the show notes because she was brought up, and I want people to be able to click here to go see Misty.
That's when that's how advocacy pays off. You're not getting paid money wise or nothing like that. You're the accidental seeing of your TikTok video is what is priceless, and it saves somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a nice feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Doing that.
It truly is.
All right, everybody. We'll see y'all next Saturday here, right back wherever you're watching. We'll be back in the same spot. If you can't find us, go to YouTube, type in Kratom Stories podcast. We're always live streaming there.
Uh-huh.
But wherever you're at right now, that's a good spot too. All right. See you all next week.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Bye.
coming.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.